Om Jnana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kada Mahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yutapadakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavansha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagani Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitansha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastate Bhaktakanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpatarubhascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. That was nice. Loud.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji. Very good. That shows the enthusiasm of the devotees. Still Rath Yatra is going on, huh? Jai Jagannath. Okay, so hope all of you are okay. I'll just... So you're able to see my screen? Okay, so let's do a quick revision. Last week we only covered 4 verses. Let's do a quick revision of those 4 verses, which are very important actually. And then we'll move to chapter 12, which is the last chapter of this module and relatively smaller chapter. Okay, 11:52. Jamati Mataji, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Sure you were there?
Yeah, I was there, Prabhu.
Okay.
Don't know how much attention there was, but yes, I will try. Yeah.
That's okay.
Okay. Translation 52 is: the Supreme Personality of Godhead said, "My dear Arjun, this form of mine you are now seeing is very difficult to behold. Even the demigods are ever seeking the opportunity to see this form, which is so dear." So, this in this form, this is the Soumya form that we are talking about in this verse. So it says, Shri Bhagavan Vacha, so Su Durdarshanam idam rupam. So Su
Durdarshan.
Sorry,
Durdarshan, you said? Su Durdarshanam.
Durdarshanam.
No, actually, it's not Durdarshan.
Durdarshanam.
It's Pas Darshan.
Yeah.
It's, if you break it, Mataji, is Darshan, simple word, Durdarsham.
Durdarsham, yes.
Yeah.
वो दूरदर्शन याद आ रहा
वही मैं कह रहा हूँ दूरदर्शन नहीं है ये पास दर्शन है Arjun is standing next to Krishna.
Yes.
So it's sometimes difficult to read, but if you break the word, it's very easy to read as well as understand. Darsham.
Darsham. So it is this form is very difficult to see, which is the Soumya Rupa, and then Rupam Drishtvam Asi Yan Mam. So as you are seeing right now, this Rup of mine is very it's exclusive to you yourself, like you can see me. Then Deva Api Asya Rupasya, always desiring to see. Everyone's desiring to see, but only you can see. So Nityam Darsham, so example was Krishna in the womb of Devaki, the Deva Apya Rupa Pasya, and then Nityam Darshan Kangshin is aspiring to see. Nitya means always over here. Over here is Vishnu appears, comes as in the form of Krishna. That's what we discussed last time. And this 200 forms is only once in a day of Brahma. This is what I wrote, so Prabhu.
Okay. No, that's good. Anyone else want to add something?
Yes, Prabhu.
Yes.
We went to the this Deva thing. Like, it is very difficult even for the demigods to get this darshan. So your example you gave was like all the demigods went to Vishnu to pray to him that you please come and relieve Mother Earth from the atrocities of all the Rakshasas. And even Brahma could not get the darshan. He got the the message in his heart from Vishnu. So they couldn't see him that time. And when Lord appeared in the womb of Mother Devaki, so all the demigods, they came to do the Garbhstuti. So it was so difficult. Like, it is so durlabha. You also mentioned like this word has been mentioned as in the other verses as well, like how rare it is to see Krishna in his two-handed form. And then we also discussed that that how even the devas also get bewildered. Like, we just had a long discussion about that. I can't remember the exact, like, I asked a question and a lot of other devotees also asked, like, how they get bewildered and they understand that Krishna is the supreme, but then they, forget, and then they do all the things. There were, I think the sloka that we used was Manushyanam Sahasreshu. That was one of the shlokas you mentioned, and the other one was where we used the word Sudurlabha. What was that? I can't remember the full shloka. So that was my remembrance from this shloka.
I think we also discussed about Mahavishnu taking darshan of Krishna. He's stealing the sons of Brahma.
Yes. Yeah, he took the 6 sons of Brahmana, and to get darshan of Krishna, he had to do that. Like how rare it is even for Vishnu to get darshan of Krishna. To get that darshan, he had to perform that leela.
Yeah.
He would get darshan of Krishna.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the other shloka was Bahunam Janman Mante Jnanavan Mam Prapadyate Vasudeva Sarmam Iti Sa Mahatma Sudurlabha. So we use that Sudurlabha connection with this Sudurdash Darshanam.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Prabhuji. Let's go to the next one.
Can I do this, Prabhu?
Sure, Mataji.
Hi, Krishna. So, translation: the form you are seeing with your transcendental eyes cannot be understood simply by studying the Vedas, nor by undergoing serious penances, nor by charity, nor by worship. It is not by these means that one can see me as I am. So in this verse, Krishna is describing the ways by which one cannot see him. So na aham vedair. So aham refers to I, and na, as it comes like 4 times here, refers to no. You cannot see me. How? By study of Vedas. Veda is study of Vedas, or by tapasa. Tapasa means by serious penances. Na dane, not by giving charity, and na che jaya. So na cha ijaya. So also, not also by ijaya refers to worship. So then we also studied the different these 4 ways. We spoke about different examples of these 4 things. For example, study, recitation, memorization of verses. We referred to Keshav Kashmiri. Then by doing lots of austerities, one cannot see him, and I don't remember the example on top of my head, but the one that we discussed but one I can think of is, one rishi who went underwater to do tapasya, but he saw fish. Saubhari Muni, yeah, and he did these austerities, but for what he got influenced by the activities of the fish themselves. Then by just by giving charity. And the example we discussed was that of Karna. And Ijaya. Ijaya also means worship, and it means deity worship, or doing sacrifices like chanting mantras, doing ahutis, etc. And one example we discussed was of the brahmanas who were doing the mantras, but their wives were actually following the process. Because they had devotion, so they actually offered Krishna the food, while the brahmanas were just following the rituals. The other example we discussed was about the brahmana and the prostitute. The brahmana was just doing his duty, but he was constantly, his attention was captivated by what's going on in the prostitute's house. But the prostitute was, in spite of doing wrong, not really good activities, but her mind was constantly focused on the mantras that were chanted by the brahmana. So we also here discussed that where one can only see Krishna through devotion. And even demons like Hiranyakashipu and Kamsa, etc., they were remembering Krishna or thinking about Krishna all the time. But it is not that kind of demoniac thinking that makes us see Krishna, but thoughts of Krishna in full devotion will help us see him. So the activities that have been mentioned here are very good, but they don't actually lead to the vision of the Lord, or one may not be able to see or understand or have darshan of the Lord, or significance of having the darshan of Lord by doing these activities. Just something I remember.
Thank you, Mataji. Very nice. Yeah, these examples are very, very powerful. If you remember them, then we will understand. Now, we are also studying, we are doing some seva, some austerity we are doing, but that austerity itself, or reading itself, or even Bhagavad Gita will not take us to Krishna. What will take us to Krishna is the realization of Krishna after doing that activity. Many times people get stuck to the activity itself and forget the goal, which happened in the terms of this Vedic Yogic Brahmanas. So they're doing fantastic activity, but the intention was not to achieve Krishna. It was just stuck into that externals of the activity. So we have to be very careful. And if we are reading Prabhupada books regularly, the chances are very, very high that you will understand the goal of the process, not just the process itself. And that's why very important to read Prabhupada books, because his mood is always to how you're going to achieve Krishna, not just become a scholarly person. Okay, and last line is also very important. Dashtwan asi mam yatha. So if you know in Hindi, I think Marathi as well, they call Jeshi ahe tani. What do you call it? Yatharu, Bhagavad Gita Yatharu. What do you call it?
Dashi ahe tashi.
Jesi ahe tasi. So in Hindi, you call Yatharu, Jesi ahe tasi. Yatha word is very, very important, as you are seeing me. And there's also argument against Mayavad, where Krishna himself is speaking. Yatha. Yatha means as I am right now. So Krishna is not saying something beyond me, a light beyond me, my impersonal aspect, nothing like that. He's saying Yatha. Yatha means as I am standing in front of you, this person I'm talking about, not anything beyond. So it's very, very clear, unambiguous statement from Krishna. This is what you have to see and try to achieve, not anything other than him. Okay, let's go to verse 54. This is also very important. I'll not name it. Anyone would like to do that?
I can do it.
Sure.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
So this verse now, it's 11.54 actually. It's explaining what, before it was, the verse was saying what doesn't take us to Krishna, so those things. But now we are talking about what actually does take us to Krishna.
Yeah.
The things that take us to Krishna is Ananya Bhakti. So Bhakti is Ananya Sakya. So Ananya refers to no other than basically Bhakti Bhaktiya, which will make it possible for you, Sakya. Then the second line, Aham
Mataji,
Evam.
Hare Krishna. Maybe you can just read the translation quickly. It just sets up the
sorry.
background for us. Yeah.
Sorry.
That's okay.
Yeah. So the translation is for 11.54. My dear Arjuna, only by undivided devotional service can I be understood as I am standing before you and can thus be seen directly. Only in this way can you enter into the mysteries of my understanding. So, yeah, so the first line we can see that, yeah, so basically this verse is going to tell us what does take us to Krishna. So like the Ananya Bhakti refers to the nothing which other than Bhakti, which actually can take us back to the Supreme. Aham evam vidho Arjuna. So here Krishna is saying, as you want to understand Krishna, Arjuna is saying to Arjuna, as you want to understand Vido, or know me as I am, and you can only do through this only can be achieved through Ananya Bhakti. And once you have this exclusive devotion, then you will be able to have the knowledge, which is Gyatam. Gyatam is the knowledge. But not mundane knowledge, actually, not some materialistic knowledge, academic knowledge. It is the Bhakti Anupul Gyan. So it is the Gyan, which is knowledge, which is favorable to Krishna consciousness too. Yeah. And then after you have achieved that knowledge, or after you've gained that knowledge, then you can then have drashtam, the eyes to see me in tattva, in reality. And praveshtam is used as not you mentioned not a Mayavadi interpretation, like we're going to be merged into the Brahman, but Prabhupada actually is explaining that we are entering into the mysteries. He's saying the mysteries of my understanding. So it's not actually entering like in that context of Mayavadi philosophy, like they do it in their Bhagavad Gita like that. So it's not, yeah, so we can't, we just have to be careful. But Prabhupada has explained that it's the mysteries of my understanding, not entering into the Brahman or anything. So
because the full word here is Tattvena Praveshtum. So sometimes they only read the one word, Praveshtum.
Yeah.
And even if you use the word Praveshtum, like Pravesh Karna, to enter, I think we discussed an example of I'm entering into a city. It doesn't mean my existence is no more. You can, say I'm entering into Sydney. You're driving from Sydney to Melbourne or other way. You're saying I am entering into Melbourne. What does it mean? Yes, you are entering. You're a person. Melbourne is a city, and you're entering into. So nothing so big about it. But even if you look that way, it's defeatable. And even if you look the full tattva, I say tattvena praveshtum. So you will enter into tattva, because many people understand Krishna not with tattva, just as a figure. Krishna is a great hero. That's fine. But he is a Bhagavan, Supreme Personality of Supreme Personality of Godhead. That people don't understand. So if we read the full word here, tattvam praveshtum, you will enter into the tattva. And Prabhupada writes the translation, mysteries of my understanding. Yeah. Yes, Mataji, please continue.
Yeah, so basically the verse is saying that we can, through Gyatvam, which is the knowledge, we can see the Supreme Krishna through Dashtam. And this is the real, this is the real form of, this is the real path, this is the real form we can see of the Lord, not just a representation.
Yes.
And and enter into that reality, the tattva.
Yeah. Thank you, Mataji. And also we can see 3 steps here. The order is very, very clear. Gyatum. So now we are reading Bhagavad Gita. As Mataji is also saying, we're not trying to become a scholarly people here, just for the sake of becoming a scholar. Gyatum. Yes, knowledge is needed. Unless you know the knowledge, example given by one Maharaj is, if you want to love someone, what's the first step you do? You want to know more about that person. Even in movies, you see, you want to know more. Where does this person go? What does this person like? What does this person doesn't like? So we're trying to know more about Krishna, because by knowing more about Krishna, I've given this quotation of Sri Bhakti Samrat Maharaj many times. He says, if you know how much love Krishna has in his heart for you, you will have no other choice except to love back. So we know Krishna loves us many times, if not all the time, but we don't know how much love. A simple example is a kid also can understand, oh, my parents love me. But how much love parents has in their heart, kids many times don't understand it. And parents sometimes, I wish, I can explain you. I'm trying to help you. Many times kids don't listen to the parents. So parents have so much love for the kids, but kids don't have that much love. They don't understand the love of their parents. And many times differences of opinions happens just because they don't understand each other's heart. So if we understand Krishna's heart, as Maharaj was saying, we'll have just nothing else except to love him back. So by knowing more about Krishna through these books like Bhagavad Gita, Chaitanya Charitamrita, Bhagavatam, we are knowing the heart of Krishna. And by knowing that heart, which is Gyatum, what will happen? Drashtum, we will be able to see Krishna. Right now, many people argue, can you show Krishna? Can you show Krishna? Radha Govind Maharaj was saying in one class, my question to those people are, how can you not see Krishna? Maharaj was like in full conviction saying, how can you not see Krishna? Krishna is everywhere. And I was listening this lecture, and I was like, Maharaj has such a vision. We can at least theoretically appreciate Maharaj's statement, if not practically. Theoretically, yes, Maharaj can see Krishna. Prabhupada also said, I can see Krishna as good as I see you. So Prabhupada or Maharaj or many other devotees like that, they are able to see Krishna, and their problem is to understand how these people are not able to see Krishna. I mean, Uddhav went to the gopis and saying, gopis, you should put your mind for impersonal aspect of Krishna. And gopis are saying, how can you do that? How can I leave Krishna who's playing the flute? How can I leave Krishna who is stealing the butter? How can I leave Krishna who's killing the demons? Where is impersonal? We only had one heart, and that has been given to Shyam Sundar Krishna. We don't have any other heart to give to other aspect of absolute truth, which you are talking about. So they don't understand Krishna. Uddhav was saying, forget Krishna. Maharaj was telling, our problem is our seniors are telling us to put your mind on Krishna, to remember Krishna. And the problem of gopis was they were remembering Krishna too much. So their teacher is telling them not to remember Krishna. So there's a whole realm altogether. When we understand it, this is called Tattvena Praveshtum. So we will understand in that. Now, it does not mean we'll leave the body, we have to go to Vaikuntha Loka to take darshan of Krishna. Rupa Goswami clearly says, while in this body, you can take darshan of Krishna, you can talk to Krishna, you can experience Krishna right now. You don't have to leave your family, you don't have to leave your body, you don't have to leave anything. You just have to change your perception. And once you change your perception, this is called Tattvena Praveshtum. But it starts from Gyan. Gyan means, again, as Mataji was saying, Bhakti Anukul Gyan, which we are trying under the shelter of Prabhupada a little bit. So understand from that perspective, then take darshan of Krishna, and then realize Krishna fully in our hearts. Yes, Priya Mataji.
Prabhuji, Hare Krishna. Actually,
Hare
can
Krishna.
you explain in the previous verse? I'm not I don't have the, I haven't heard about the Keshav Kashmiri. Can you
Keshav Kashmiri.
just
Yeah,
can you
sure.
reiterate on that?
Sure, Mataji. So Keshav Kashmiri, his name comes in Chaitanya Charitamrita. So that time, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was known as Nimai Pandit. He was around 15-year old. He was very famous for his logic, for his knowledge. Now, by this time, he is such a person whom is confronting with many scholars of Navadvip, because Navadvip was considered the best place in all the India where all the top scholars would live. And he was confronting with all the scholars in Navadvip who are like the top one in their own field, and he would defeat them very, very easily. It says whenever these scholars will see Nimai coming towards them, they will go from a different street. They will change the direction. So if they're going in north, and if they see Nimai coming from north, they will start going towards south. And they'll say, oh, I have some work in the house. So Nimai was extremely knowledgeable, obviously not as Bhagwan we are talking, even as a person, he was extremely knowledgeable. So everyone was sort of non-devotee community I'm talking about, very fearful of Nimai. Now, Keshav Kashmiri, who happened to be the best scholar of his time throughout the India, and he had a boon from Saraswati Devi, personal boon. No one will be ever able to defeat you. That's the boon he has got. So he was like very proud of this boon. He had traveled all over the India, in different parts of India except Navadvip. And he had a Vijay Patra. In Hindi, they call it Vijay Patra. That means the certificate of victory. So whichever city he will go to, and he will sort of challenge the topmost scholarly person in that city and say, you come and try to defeat me. And everyone got defeated by Keshav Kashmiri. Finally, he said, Navdeep is the only place left. Let me go and defeat these Navdeep Vasis, and I will be the top scholar in that in the whole India. So when he came to Navdeep, the news was heard by Navdeep Vasis, by the citizens of Navdeep, that Keshav Kashmiri is coming. And it says, practically speaking, whole Navdeep was empty. Someone had to go to his mother-in-law's place. Someone had to go to father-in-law's place. Someone had a work at shop. A child was sick. All of a sudden, all the scholarly people were making excuses why they can't come and debate with this Keshav Kashmiri. And they were all praying, I wish Nimai could confront this Keshav Kashmiri. They were all praying their heart so that they will say, even a child in our village can defeat you. What are you going to defeat me? So it was their pride, actually. So they're praying their heart. So Nimai, as Supreme Personality of Godhead, knew the hearts of all these people. So he arranged in such a way, the Yogamaya arranged everything in such a way. When Keshav Kashmiri entered into the city of Navdeep, it was the evening time, and Nimai happened to be sitting on the banks of Ganga. And when Keshav Kashmiri entered into the city, he entered exactly at the same spot where Nimai was sitting on the banks of Ganga. Just casually he was sitting. He wasn't like waiting for him. There was no room set up or something like that. Anyway, so Keshav Kashmiri enters here, and here Nimai very humbly does pranam to Keshav Kashmiri, and he said, oh, I've heard so many nice stories about you, and you are so wonderful. So actually, he glorifies Keshav Kashmiri. And Keshav Kashmiri was very proud and very happy. Yes, even Nimai knows my glories. So he said, I am here to debate with these people of Navdeep. And Nimai said, oh, that's very nice. And now you are here and we are in the banks of Ganga. Could you please glorify? Not in the terms of challenge, Nimai. Very humbly, he said, can you please glorify Mother Ganga? I've heard your glories a lot. On the spot, Keshav Kashmiri composed new 100 verses in the glorification of Mother Ganga in Sanskrit, not in Hindi or in a local dialect, in 100 new verses on the spot, and it was coming from his mouth like, we are speaking casually. He was so scholarly person because he had this personal benediction from Mother Saraswati. So he became very proud after composing 100 verses, and Nimai said, wow, wow, amazing, amazing, amazing. And he was more proud. And he said, but my dear sir, there's a little problem. And as soon as he heard the word problem in my poetry, in my composition, he was like fully challenged. This little boy, 15-year-old boy, challenging me. And he said, how dare you say there's a problem in my composition? It's not possible. And he said, my dear sir, in the verse 64, I don't remember the Sanskrit verse. It's all written in Chaitanya Charitamrita. Anyway, so he says, sir, in your verse 64, there's a problem where you are explaining in such a way, it's very confusing for people to understand. Does Parvati has two husbands? So Parvati has a husband, Parvati has husband, Lord Shiva. But she's the Sati. Her name is the most chaste. She is one of the most chaste wives. And the way you are explaining looks like she has another husband. Keshav Kashmiri was completely watered down. No? Pani ho gaya. He says, how come this boy can remember all these 100 verses and he can point out the mistake? And he said, actually, sir, there are many mistakes in your poetry, but this is just one of it. And Keshav Kashmiri, actually, he was a scholar himself and he could understand there was a mistake. It was presented, Mother Parvati's chastity was challenged, actually. And that's a big thing. It's a big thing. And he didn't say a word to Nimai, and he just went back home. When he went back home, he was completely mesmerized by this super intelligence of Nimai Pandit. And when he came back home, he said, okay, what he said was correct, but how come I got defeated to this little boy? So he started worshipping Saraswati Ji that same night, and says late night, somewhere midnight, Saraswati Ji appeared. And she said, why are you calling me? And he said, Mother Saraswati, you have given me a boon that I will not be defeated by anyone. And how come I got defeated today? And Saraswati says, my dear son, my dear foolish son. She said that, you fool, you fool, you think you're not able to defeat anyone, that's fine, but I never gave you a boon that you can defeat my own dear Ishtadev, which is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna. So the person whom you challenged this evening was no other than my own father, my own Ishtadev, who is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And you got defeated with that person, so it's no surprise. Then Keshav Kashmiri got very humbled, and then he understood there is no one else. No one else does not mean Krishna. Krishna has its own category. Mattah parataram na anyat kinchidasti dhananjaya. So actually he was humbled. At the same time, he was happy in his heart that I got defeated not by any mere human being. I got defeated by Supreme Personality of Godhead. So very next morning, he went and surrendered to the lotus feet of Nimai Pandit, and he became a great devotee. A short version of the pastime.
Thank you, Prabhu. That was very nice. Thank you.
Yes, it's very nice pastime, actually. It's very nice. Many times, teachers who are teaching the young kids, they explain this pastime. It's very beautiful. Okay, let's go to verse 55. Who wants to do 55?
Can I do, Prabhu?
Yes, please.
Very
So look at the purport of Prabhupada in 54. Amazing purport Prabhupada has written, so big in trying to prove the supremacy of Krishna and how important is the Ananya Bhakti, exclusive devotion to Krishna. Yes, Chaitanya Prabhu.
Translation. My dear Arjuna, he who engages in my pure devotional service, free from contamination of fruitive activities and in mental speculation, he who works for me, who makes me the supreme goal of his life, and who is friendly to every living being, he certainly comes to me. So I think in this shloka, it is just continuation of the previous one, where the Lord has explained one who performs a devotional service, he can understand him and he can enter into his mysteries and leelas. But in this, he is further clarifying, like, by doing what are the various ways one can engage in the devotional service. Like the first one, mat karma, wherein dovetailing our activities in the service of the Lord. So even material activities we discussed, they can be finally dovetailed for the pleasure of the Supreme Lord. We discussed an example of even sleep, how we can dovetail for the service of the Lord. I mean, when we rest, it'll be like fresh from the next morning if we are taking up Krishna consciousness activities, so that we are fresh. And similarly, yat karoshi yat asnas, so yat karoshi, all the activities which can be. And the next one is mat paramo, which is the supreme goal. So we discussed about different types of goals. Like one is an immediate goal, which is like, say, whatever, like a mother feeding a kid, or medium-term goals, anything like paying mortgages. And the long-term goal, or the goals, need to be Vasudeva Paramaka. So he need to be the supreme goal. So as long as we keep that as Krishna being the ultimate goal, and even though we are engaged in some other immediate goals and medium-term goals, but as long as our focus is not changed in making sure we are pleasing Krishna. And the
just
next
on
one,
that one, I think we also discussed, if there is a conflict between your immediate, or I should rather say, medium-term and long-term goal with your ultimate goal, which goal you take? So you take your ultimate goal or you take your medium-term goal. That will define how much depth you have in our devotional service. Many times what happens, we give up our ultimate goal to pursue with our medium-term goal or long-term goals. It's okay. Devotion I can do next year. This year I have to really work hard. I have to make some money. I have to do this. I have to do that. We should not do that. It doesn't mean, again, you stop pursuing your medium-term goals, but you should only pursue in such a way which does not conflict with your ultimate goal. If the conflict happens, who will win? It has to be Krishna. We have to give priority to Krishna. It says if you give priority to Krishna in your life, then Krishna will give priority to you in his life. Because we are not, many times, we are not giving priority to Krishna. We're still doing it. Our 16th round happens on 11 p.m. in the night. If that's the case, it's not so nice. Huh? It's okay. What you are doing is not wrong, but it's not so nice. You're not giving priority to Krishna. Like when we get up early in the morning, or whenever we get up, we go to bathroom, we do our daily activities, and we straight away go to the altar. That's what we do. Now, if you get up at 8 a.m., the first thing you think, oh, bus miss ho gaya, I have to go to work. So that means you're not giving priority to Krishna. So rather we give priority to Krishna, even if it's a little difficult now, and then we'll see. All the other things will get aligned. You say if you prioritize Krishna, everything else will work out. Because how much we can think, how much we can plan anyway. Our buddhi, our intelligence is very, very limited, very, very limited. So when you can't see too much in the material life, you just say, okay, Krishna, I'm relying on you. I'm doing my best. You take care of it. And whatever loss happens, whatever benefit has to come, it will come or not come. But our in the conflicting situation, we have to prioritize Krishna. And we have so many examples where people sort of left the medium, sometimes immediate goals as well, for the sake of Krishna. Now, we can't do that. We are not so high, but at least in long-term goals, medium-term goals, prioritize Krishna. Our bhakti should not get reduced. Everything else, dekha jayega. We'll see. Whatever comes, bhakti should not get reduced. If it is a one-day situation, okay. We all have our different days, but medium to long-term goal, Krishna is our priority. Everything else, Krishna will arrange. Okay, and obviously do it maturely, not immaturely. Okay, yes, Prabhuji, please continue.
Yeah, so next one is Mat Bhakta, which is engaged in the devotional service. We discussed about the 9 process of devotional service. If Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, all the activities which one need to be engaged in order to advance in Krishna consciousness activities. And then Nirvaira is more like without having
one more.
Sanghavarjita. Sanghavarjita, what we discussed is it's basically 2 kinds of an association we discussed. One is a outer association, where we try to avoid getting into bad association, which could hamper our progress in the bhakti. And the other one is an inner association, where we try to like chant or meditate or Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu, where one need to take his sadhana so that he can advance in his Krishna consciousness activities. And Nirvaira, without enmity. So we discussed like we need to be very careful, like not to judge others, even though mind sometimes goes in, but we need to try our best and see, even if somebody is making mistake, unless until one is an authority, he should not say anything, because Krishna will obviously inspire when it is the right time. So we need to tolerate as long as we are not the authority.
Just one more point I want to add. Sorry, Bhakti Siddhanta Maharaj said, unless the person is falling off the cliff, person in front of you falling off the cliff, and then he says, oh, Prabhu, I'm not the authority for this person. No, that's not the point here. That's not the point. A person is falling off the cliff or something right happening in front of your eyes. With all due respect, with all due compassion, Maharaj Bharat picked up the baby deer. And Acharya said he should have picked up. If you don't pick up a baby deer who's dying just because you're chanting your rounds, you're not a devotee. You're not a devotee. So compassion obviously should be understood in a proper terms, but it has to lead to devotion. And that's what apparent mistake Maharaj Bharat did. Apparent mistake, to teach us. So if someone is in trouble right in front of your eyes, and you're not helping, that's not proper. A devotee is very, very soft-hearted person. He's not hard-hearted person. But what happened the next step in Maharaj Bharat's life? He got too much attached to the deer. That was not correct. Picking up the deer, someone is falling off the cliff, someone wrong happening. And if you could do something, you should do. You must do. Then push your mala next, and then, go and help that person. But now, in a long term, again, if you're just helping the person, you're looking after the deer so much that you forget your mala, that's not devotion. That's not devotion. Then you should go to your senior devotees and say, I have this baby deer, what should I do with it? And then senior devotees will tell you, go and drop it back into the jungle. There are many baby deers. Other one Maharaj was explaining very nicely. There's so many baby deers in the jungle. Maharaj Bharat could not look after everyone, but he looked after one. So you could have dropped it back to an ashram, to somewhere safe, obviously. But that time picking up was important, necessary. So if something is happening, we cannot just put this principle in blind. I've read in Bhakti Shastri, I heard in Bhakti Shastri class, we are not the authority. When we say we are not the authority, we're talking about, other practical day-to-day things. Otherwise, the conflicting situation may arise between two devotees, which we don't want. Sorry, I thought I'll just add that.
Yeah, I think fault finding is what we discussed, which need to be avoided. But yeah, if it is a necessity where one need to help as a friend or as
Yes,
we definitely need to.
that's what makes us a devotee community, a devotee caring community. We care for each other, genuinely care for each other. Okay.
Okay. Sarva Bhuteshu, which is having equanimous or having friendly to every living entity, not only just for human beings, for everyone. But yeah. And finally the end goal, once one does all this, so Yasa Mam Iti Pandava. So Lord is giving an assurance that he will come back to him with his mercy.
Thank you, Prabhuji. And as we were discussing last week, Prabhupada called it, this verse as sum and substance of Bhagavad Gita. This tells you how to come to the level of Ananya Bhakti, which is explained in 1154. Very important verse. We can just sort of print it out and stick it on our wall. It does so many nice things. Okay, thank you, Prabhu. Now we have finished the 11th chapter. Now we're entering to the 12th chapter, which is named as Devotional Service. Now this chapter is the last chapter. Okay, Ujjwala Samataji, you have a question?
Yeah, quickly, Prabhu,
Yes.
one question. I remember in the past we were talking about an example like how, as you mentioned that, if it's a dire necessity, we should obviously help that person. So we were discussing about an example of a person who was drowning, and like we were mentioning that, okay, the person is drowning, then we should we should try to save that person. It's not like, we let it go and, he will take care of himself. But there was one of the senior person who was mentioning, well, if you do that, then it's like saving the outer garment of the person, not the inner. So at that time, I was saying that, well, at least the person has got to be saved, then we can think of the other thing. So there was a bit of a discussion about that point. Could you please clarify a bit more on that?
Yeah, so usually Prabhupada used to give this example very nicely and say, if you're trying, so there are multiple aspects to this example. I'll just discuss few, which I have heard. So Prabhupada used to say, if you're trying to save a drowning person and you come out with the coat of the person and you say, I have saved the person, that's not saving the person. You saved the coat, but the person has drowned. So what Prabhupada basically was saying, if you save the body but not the soul, what's the use? But as you correctly said, first the person has to be saved. But to be able to save the person, Mataji or Prabhuji, we should first know how to swim, isn't it? A person is drowning, it's like, oh, I'm going to save the person. I would love to save this particular Mr. X or Y, but you yourself don't know how to swim. Then what will happen? If you jump into the pool, then what will happen? You will also drown, that person will also drown. So first you need to know the swimming, the art of swimming, and how to save the other person. Then only you jump. And when you jump, you not only bring back the coat of the person, you bring the person back. And then Mahatma Buddha, as you probably know that story, a poor person came to the disciples of Mahatma Buddha, and they were trying to preach this poor person, and he was not able to concentrate or focus. So the disciples brought this person back to Mahatma Buddha and said, my dear sir, we are trying to teach this person so many nice lessons, but he's not able to focus, he's not understanding. You know what Mahatma Buddha said? Go and feed the person first. He's hungry. He's hungry. So first, as you said, body has to be saved. But first, are you able to save the body? That's the first question. If you are able to save the body, then only you jump and save. Definitely you should say. If you're not able to jump, at least you can shout, please someone help, you can do that. So that's called humanity, and Krishna will love it. But if you don't know how to swim, first don't jump. That's the first thing. Do something practical, get a rope or whatever else works. Second thing, when you jump, save not only the person, but his soul as well. What does it mean? So you bring the person out, definitely, and you make him comfortable, and then you talk about it. I heard a lecture from His Holiness Bhakti Rasamrit Maharaj. They're speaking on some topic, and I think Mataji was asking a question about someone passed in her family or in some relative's family, and this lady or man was trying to give them Bhagavad Gita knowledge, and Maharaj was explaining that's not the right time to give Bhagavad Gita knowledge. That time when you go and someone has lost his son or daughter or husband, wife, you should be compassionate towards that person rather than giving a shloka from Bhagavad Gita. And Maharaj said, when Arjun lost his son Abhimanyu, Krishna did not complain to Arjun. You fool, I've just explained you the whole Bhagavad Gita, 7 days before. You forgot the verse 213? He never said that. He never said that. He said, I'm with you. I'm with you. Huh? So that is not the best time when you explain the knowledge. There has to be right time, right knowledge given with the right attitude. Then person will understand. So you just don't give anything to anyone anytime. He or she will not take. And it's not his or her fault. It's our fault actually. So a mature preacher will know what to say, when to say, how much to say. Now, just comes to my mind, Gaur Gopal Prabhu. He gives, fantastic classes, short classes. Not in every class he's telling everyone to become Krishna conscious. I heard recently a class, in India, Real Heroes or something like that. You can Google. In that class, 22 minutes class or something, he never spoke one word about Krishna, but he was giving principles about Krishna consciousness. He never said the word Krishna, not even once. But he was constantly giving principles of integrity, principle of how to live with each other in a very harmonious way. I really liked it because that's what is needed. So when we talk about saving the person, we have to understand how to save the person. First step, I should know the swimming. Second step, I have to take his body out, make him comfortable. When he says, oh, thank you, Mataji, for saving me, then you can share, I have something more to share with you. And then you start. And that's why many Maharajas, if you see, go to the youth preaching, they don't talk about too much about, what time you're getting up, what time you're getting up. Just add Krishna. Huh? All they will say, just add Krishna in your life. You're eating meat, no problem. You're having alcohol, no problem. Whatever you are doing is no problem. Start adding Krishna, because they know by adding little bit Krishna in their life, one day, all these nonsense things will go away and Krishna will take over their whole life. So that is real preaching. That is real preaching. Is that okay?
Thank you, Prabhu.
Yeah, thank you, Mataji. Priya Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. I just
Hare
wanted
Krishna.
to actually share in terms of saving, ourselves from, falling in the material pool and everything. So I just wanted to share that.
Yes.
I just someone forwarded something what Prabhupada said, and it said someone asked Prabhupada, why do you keep traveling across the countries? And Prabhupada, with a smile on his face, replied, to stop your traveling in 8.4 million species.
Haribo. Very nice. Very
So I
nice.
just thought to share that.
Yes, it's very nice. So that's why sadhus do. So now we go to temple, honestly, to purify ourselves. But sadhus don't go to purify themselves. Sadhus go to purify the temple. Tirtham kurvanti tirthani. In the third canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, Uddhavji is telling this famous verse, Tirtham kurvanti tirthani. These sadhus, these devotees of Krishna, pure devotees of Krishna, make the tirtha as tirtha. Tirtha is not tirtha just because Lord Vishnu deity is there. Tirtha is tirtha because devotees of Lord Vishnu are there. So Tirtham Kurvanti Tirthani. This is very, very nice verse. So Prabhupada or devotees like Prabhupada, they travel just to purify us and make temple as a real temple. Otherwise, suppose in a temple there's a very nice deity of Lord Vishnu or Krishna, but they are not devotees. Would you like to go to that temple? Just the deity of Krishna standing on their own. And that's why one of the qualities of Krishna out of 64 is he is his Bhakti Madhuri. He is never alone. He's always with his devotees. And that's the beauty of the Lord. That's the beauty of the Lord. And that's why we love devotees of Lord, because Krishna loves devotees. So we also love devotees. Now, sometimes hard to love devotees. It's easy to love Krishna, hard to love devotees. But that's the art we have to learn, how to love his devotees, because if we don't love devotees, Krishna will not like us. Again, step by step. Okay, thank you. Nice discussion. So with your permission, we can enter into chapter 12 now, which is the last chapter of this Bhakti module. Now, as we know, Gita is divided into three parts: Karma Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, and Jnana Yoga. Obviously, our acharyas tell the first part is not just Karma Yoga, is leading from Karma Yoga to Bhakti Yoga. Anyone knows a verse in the first module which proves this point, that Karma Yoga leads to Bhakti Yoga, from first six chapters of Bhagavad Gita?
Chapter 6, last shloka, Prabhu.
47, which is
योगिनामपि सर्वेषां मद्गतेन अंतरात्मना श्रद्धावान् भजते यो मां समयुक्ततमः
Dhada, 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 dhada. Thank you. Prabhupada said we should know our Bhakti Shastras as a lawyer knows his law books. Huh? Anyone, anytime, ask anything, we should know with reference, not that I feel like that. No one cares how we feel. This is what Shastra is saying, this is what Bhagavad Gita is saying. Prabhupada was giving a lecture in Hyderabad and he was quoting Bhagavad Gita again and again to prove what he was saying. One gentleman, so-called, very intellect gentleman, he stood up, he said, Prabhupada, why are you quoting Bhagavad Gita again and again? Prabhupada said in Hindi, to kya newspaper quote karu? Should I quote from the newspaper? I have to quote from Bhagavad Gita, because what's the value of my opinion? I have to present the opinion of Shastra. So I'm quoting Bhagavad Gita. So this is what Indian people, many people say these days. What is your opinion? What is your opinion? What is your opinion? Arey, what is the value of my opinion? It's rubbish. Even Arjun, when he's saying to Krishna, Asito devalo vyaso swayam chaya bravishmi. Arjun is quoting different rishis. These rishis are saying, Arjun now saying, I feel. Yeah, he said I feel as well, but he's saying, Asito devalo vyaso swayam chaya bravishmi. So he's quoting the Shastra, he's quoting the rishis. This is what our parampara is. So thank you. So we should be remembering more and more verses like this, and on the spot, whenever comes, just on the spot, give the verse, give the verse, give the verse, and then people will know that, oh no, it's not just this person's opinion, it's Bhagavad Gita opinion, which is important. So second section of Bhagavad Gita, which is Bhakti Yoga, which we are reading right now. And in this Bhakti Yoga, which obviously talks totally about Bhakti, anyone knows the chapter 7 name in Sanskrit or English? Doesn't matter. You can unmute yourself. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Just the name, so that we know what is being discussed in the chapter. What's the 7th chapter?
Knowledge about the absolute. Hare Krishna.
And what does it say in 2 lines, if you have to say, or 3 lines? Anyone else? Prabhu has given 2 answers. Chapter 7, what does it talk about? Just think about chapter 7. What does it talk about? Mohit Prabhuji, if you like.
So we talk about like how we can remember Krishna in different
How we can
activities.
remember Krishna. That's what it is. The crux of the chapter 7. How can we remember Krishna? Rasoham apsakonte prabhasmi suryo. So how can we practically remember? That's what's called knowledge of that. Who surrenders and who doesn't surrender. And 728, Yesham Tandakanam Papam Jananam Purnikarmanam. All those things are true. Now chapter 8, what's the name? Was discussed. Not Akhanda Rasa Prabhu, which someone else can also say.
Attaining the Supreme.
Thank you, Mataji. And what does it discuss about, Mataji?
Remembering Krishna through devotional service.
Little bit more. Remembering Krishna.
Antakalecha.
Antakalecha mame vismanutta kalevam. So the theme there, again, there are many verses discussed there. And the theme is how to remember Krishna at the time of death. And it also compares the spiritual world and material world and all those things. Now, chapter 9.
And also says about Yoga Mishra Bhakti.
Thank you, Mata. You remember all the complexities as well. Okay, chapter 9. Who remembers the name of chapter 9? Who has not spoken as yet? Rasanan Prabhuji is smiling.
Knowledge, Prabhu.
The most confidential knowledge. And what do we talk in 9th chapter? Anyone else?
Rajavidya Rajaguyam.
Rajavidya Rajaguyam, Pavitramidam Uttvam, Pratyakshavagamam Dharmam, Susukham Kartum Avyayam. So that's where the chapter name is taken. What do we discuss in 9th chapter? Someone else?
Comparison between demigod worship to
Very nice.
Pure devotion,
Okay.
to the Lord's devotion.
More? How
And
Krishna
then
is the supreme,
Supreme.
how he is not to be worshipped by avajananti ma mura manushim tanum ashritam. So don't consider me as an imperson. And he compares the demigod worship and his worship, and then he talks about how his worship is so
And
easy.
he's about ultimate enjoyer.
He's the ultimate enjoyer. Okay, that's 529 Bhaktaramit, but we're talking chapter 9.
Ananyas chintayanto.
Ananyas
Chintayanto
Chintayanto,
mam.
Yoga Shema Vahami Aham. So I personally look after my devotees, and he says my worship is very, very easy. Which verse says my worship is very, very easy? Tell me the verse number.
One Manamat Bhaktu, 9.6.
Hare Krishna.
9.26.
926.
26.
So Manmana Bhadmadatta definitely is an important verse, but that's not to show how easy Krishna's worship is. So Patram Pushpam Phalanto, 926 is the easiest. His worship is extremely easy. You can offer him water and it still please Krishna. Anyway,
And Prithakvena and Bahut. Prithakvena and
9:15. I was just going to
Ekatvena.
come there. I was just going to come there. Thank you, Mataji. We'll come back to 9:15, Mataji, in a second. Chapter 10. Who knows the name of chapter 10? Someone else?
Opulence of
Absolute.
Huh?
Opulence of the
Opulence. What does opulence mean? Vibhuti yoga in Sanskrit.
Vibhuti.
Who will say? Vibhuti yoga. What did we study?
Prabhuji, strength, wealth, beauty, knowledge, renunciation are the 6 opulences of Krishna.
Okay. That's
Basically,
right.
so
Is
we describe
Prabhu,
about
just
the
one second.
Krishna opulence, so we can.
Prabhu, just 1 second. Let Satyava Mataji complete what she just said. So that's nice, Mataji. That's a definition of Bhagwan. What did we study in 10th chapter? That was the question. So you can just expand that. What you said is correct. Just expand it.
Prabhuji, because we discussed about the opulence of the absolute. So Krishna is the ultimate source of everything, and because everything is coming from Krishna only, and he's the superior for everybody. And yeah.
Yep. That's Aham Sarvasya Prabhu, the 10.8, what you're explaining right now. Then what happens later in the chapter? Krishna explains about his vibhutis.
Yes,
So
yes.
special things which exist in the world, which attracts us. And Krishna explains different things, which is empowered by him only. And that's how we become attracted to those things. So in the 1042, he says, so instead of getting attracted to those, ekanshen sthito jagat. So ekanshen means they are just a minute power of mind. So instead of getting attracted to the spark, we should get attracted to the source of that spark. And that's how we become Krishna conscious. Thank you, Mataji. Mohit Prabhuji, sorry, you can expand.
I'm just saying the same point, like
Okay.
in chapter 10, like with Krishna is saying, like how devotee can fix their mind and how they can remember him, and Krishna is showing their opulence in everything to declare that he's supreme, and how we can increase our devotion by hearing more about Krishna opulence. So basically, how we can fix our mind.
Thank you, Prabhuji. So now chapter 11, who will say? Who has not participated as yet? I don't know to name it, but Prasannatma Prabhuji is with Prasanna smile. You want to say something? Chapter 11.
Universal form.
Universal form. So Virat Rupa. What did we study in universal form? Abhi khatam kiya hai. We just finished. We forgot already, huh? Okay, no problem. I also forget.
He shows his cosmic universal form, Prabhu. He establishes, he pervades this universe, and even the demigods, everybody is part and
including all Bhishma, Drona, everybody were there.
Yeah, so that's the latter part of the chapter. He describes first part of the chapter is Virata Rupa, where Arjuna is able to see thousands of arms, thousands of heads and eyes and bellies and blah blah blah. Virata Rupa. Then he discusses about Kala Rupa, which Madhuri Mata is just saying. And then Bhishma, Droda, Jayadratha, they all entering into the mouth of Krishna. He's licking the blood and all those ghastly form he explains. Final part of the 11th chapter, who will explain? Someone else. Shraddha Mataji, Hare Krishna, if you like. Final part of 11th chapter, what Krishna is explaining. Sorry, you're on mute, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, final part of this chapter.
final part of the chapter will be like the 11th. Hare Krishna Prabhu, can you listen
Yes,
to me?
yes, Mataji, yes, yes, I can hear.
So will be 11.4 roughly from 4.7 to 11.55.
Yes.
That section. So it's like only pure devotees, devotees, like only pure devotees will be able to, you know, see Krishna's two-armed, two-handed form, and they, you
So we
know,
can just, Mataji, expand on that point, what you're just saying. Two-handed form is more important than four-handed, as well as with thousands of arms. Huh? So it's not two-handed form. Sometimes you have a TV with only 2 channels, and your neighbor will have a TV which has 100 channels. So we'll consider uske paas zyada acha hai. She has a better TV or, you know, better connection than me. But that's not the case all the time. And the reason being, it's not 2 channels or 100 channels. It's like what we getting out of that 2 channels or 100 channels. So can we worship infinite armed Krishna better than two-armed Krishna? Which form we can worship better? Anyone? Even worshipping two-armed one is difficult, isn't it? Imagine if that Krishna appears in the 1,000 form. It's written in Varaha Puran. The size of Varahadev was so much in each pore of his body. Each pore, like we have pores, like the sweat comes out of the pores of the body. He says each pore of the body of Varahadev can contain oceans, earthly oceans we are talking. Huh? So if each pore of Varahadev can contain, say, Atlantic Ocean, for example, imagine the size of Varahadev. Now, if that Varahadev personally comes in front of you, is it easy to worship him, to bathe him, to dress him, to offer some laddus to him? How would you worship such a big form? So Varahadev very kindly assumes the form of Archa Vigraha, small deities of Jagannath, Baldev, Subhadra, Gaur Nitai, Radha Shyam Sundar, and other forms, so that we can relate with him and worship him. So it's not Ananta Bahe is more important than two Bahe. So we established that form. Now, two form Krishna is very rare and is very important, is relatable, is reachable, is accessible to us. And that's what we establish. Yes, Shraddha Mataji, please continue.
yes, Prabhu. So that was the main, like Krishna shows like withdraws his universal form also in this part, and then he shows his four-arm, like, and finally he shows the two-arm form. But the most wonderful form is obviously, as you said, two-arm form, and you can be, you know, directly seen by pure devotees, like who has undivided, you know, unalloyed devotional service. So to them, that's the most important form of Krishna.
Yes.
And the other things were like how, you know, who is like pure devotee and how to perform devotional service, like in 11.55 itself, like it says like a businessman, if there is a businessman, he should do his business, and he should, you know, offer everything to Krishna. And even if the person is not a businessman, a normal, simple person, everybody, especially in India, they have a land and they can grow their own tulsi leaves and their own flowers, and they can, like Patram Pushpam Phalam Toyam, so they can offer it to Krishna, and then that's how they can do their devotional service, and they can, you know, dovetail their life with the, you know, Krishna consciousness, and that's the highest goal in the life. The devotees are like people who know that that's the you know, final destination to go, rather than going to anywhere else like Brahmajyoti or any other planet. They don't want to go to even Svargalokam. They want to go to Goloka Vrindavan so that they can serve Krishna eternally. And yeah, and his 200 form. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Manmohan Prabhu. Yeah, so this is what we have learned. So this gives a quite detailed introduction about the bhakti and how we can practically perform the bhakti. Now, in the final chapter of this section, which is chapter 12, which is called devotional service. So Krishna will talk nothing but devotional service, and he will make it very, very clear that devotional service is the topmost, and he will not only establish the devotional service the topmost, he will also tell how many different qualities should exist in a devotee, which is very endearing to Krishna, which is very dear to Krishna. And we can consciously try to develop those qualities and come closer to Krishna. So this is what will be discussed in the final chapter of this module, which is named as devotional service. Now, it only has 20 verses, but the verses here are very, very important, and they're very, very good verses. So let's have a quick look here. Now, this chapter again is starting from Arjuna's inquiry. And again, Arjun is not doing this inquiry because he's confused. He's doing for Lokahita, so that if anyone still have a doubt, he can clarify. Now, before we go to this chapter 12, let's read one verse from chapter 9, because this connects with it. Charu Mataji briefly mentioned that. So list 9:15, which we have already read, I'll just quickly read it. Jnana yagena chapi anya ijanto mam upasate. So different devotees, upasate, are doing upasana of mind. How they are doing? With the jnana yagya, sacrifice of knowledge. And 3 types of sacrifice of knowledge is mentioned. Ekatvena, oneness. Prataktvena bahuda, demigod worship. Vishwutomukam, universal form. Now we have read these 2, Prataktvena bahuda, demigod worship, in the 9th chapter itself. Vishwutomukam we have read in 9th chapter as well as in 11th chapter. Now, one thing which Krishna has not touched elaborately as yet is Ekatvena. So Arjun still remembers this, and Arjun is not going to sort of expand on this point, just for the Lokhita, and asking Krishna a very relevant question and see what the question is and what the response is. So 12.1. Divya Mataji, would you like to read?
Yes, Prabhuji. Arjuna Uvacha.
Arjuna
Uvacha.
Evam Satata Yuktaye.
Evam Satata Yuktaye.
Bhaktasvam Parayupasate.
Bhaktasvam Parayupasate.
Ye chapi aksharam avyaktam.
Ye chapi aksharam avyaktam.
Tesham ke yoga vittama.
Tesham ke yoga vittama.
Translation: Arjuna inquired, which are considered to be more perfect, those who are always properly engaged in your devotional service, or those who worship the impersonal Brahman, the unmanifested? Thank you.
Thank you, Mataji. So in this question of Arjun is clearly asking, Evam Satat Yuktaye. Satat Yuktaye means, Satat means constant, Satat or Nitya, constant. Evam Satat Yuktaye Bhaktas Tvam. So Bhaktas is a very clear word, Bhakti. Devotees, Paripasate, Upasate, Paripasate. So devotees who are constantly worshipping you. That's the one category. Category 2, Ye Chapi, or the other one, in contrast to that, Aksharam Avyaktam. So Akshar refers to infallible, or Avyaktam refers to impersonal aspect. So we have a word in Hindi called Vyakti, and Avyakti means unmanifested. Also, we have a verse in Bhagavad Gita, Avyaktim Vyaktim Apannam Manyante Mam Abudhaya. In the 7th chapter, we read that verse, 24 or 25. So, Ye Chapi Aksharam Avyaktam. Tesham means out of these 2 categories. So, Arjun is clearly asking a question. Out of these 2 categories, one category is Bhaktas, your devotees or worshippers of your personal aspect. Another one is Avyakta, who are following your impersonal aspect. Tesham ke, which one is Yoga Vittamaha, which one is better situated. So basically Arjun's question is, who is better, this impersonalists are better or personalists are better? Because this question keep coming back and forth, and many times there is a fight between personalist and impersonalist, but many times they don't refer to Bhagavad Gita at all. Here Arjun is asking a clear question, and Krishna will give a very clear response to this. So we understood the question, which one is better? Bhaktas are better, which is personal worshippers, or Avyaktas are better, worshipper, or I should not say worshipper, they don't worship, the followers of the impersonal aspect of Krishna. So let's see what Krishna's response is. Now, one more thing, Yoga Vittamaha. So yoga, they are both doing yoga. So that is clear, right? They're both doing yoga. They are trying to connect. Vittamaha. So Tamaha refers to, anyone remembers? What is the meaning of Tama? The multiple meanings.
Ignorance.
Thank you. More? That's correct translation. More translations. Tama is andhakar, ignorance, darkness. Anyone else? Oh, wow. Asatoma Jyotirgamaya. So from there we see this Tama word is. Tama is also used in comparing 2 words. Like in Hindi or Sanskrit, we have a word which you have heard many, many times. Priya, Priyatara, Priyatama. Many times you'll see Radharani is saying, oh, Priyatam. Priyatam. So Tara and Tama is like a comparative degree and superlative degree. So Tama refers to not only ignorance, which is also correct, but here Tama refers to superlative degree, who are best situated. You're not saying better, yeah? Yoga with Tama, who are best situated. Like Jaya Dharma Prabhu was giving the Yoginam api sarvesham madgate antaratma. So Krishna says they are the best of the yogis. Huh? So he's very, very clear question. Arjuna is asking, ye bhi chalega, wo bhi chalega, this is also good, that is also good. No, no, no. Who are the best? Huh? Because we all want the best one. Huh? No one wants a mediocre things. We want the best. So Arjuna is saying, who are the best? Two categories, personalist or impersonalist. So let's see what Krishna is saying. Who are the best? 12.2. Who wants to read, who haven't read as yet? Madhuri Mataji, would you like to read?
Sri Bhagavan Uvacha
Sri Bhagavan Uvacha
Mai Avesha Manoye Mam
Maya Vesha Manoye Mam
Nitya Yukta Upasate
Nitya Yukta Upasate
Shraddhaya Parayopetas
Shraddhaya Parayopetas
Te Me Yukta Tamamata.
Te Me Yukta Tamamataha.
Translation. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, those who fix their minds on my personal form and are always engaged in worshipping me with great and transcendental faith are considered by me to be most perfect.
See the response of Krishna? Is saying Tama Yukta Tama Mataha. Mata refers to, in my opinion. See the humility of Krishna. Always Krishna is expressing his opinion, and we express our instructions as if we are greater than Krishna. Huh? So we are also supposed to express our opinion, and we should be unattached if this person follows or doesn't follow, because many times people don't hear anyway. So opinion, express your opinion, not your instruction, because if you express your instruction, the person doesn't follow, you get frustrated. It's okay. They have their mindset, they will follow what they like. And if Krishna inspires in their heart, they will follow the right instruction. If not, what can we do? So Krishna is saying, Maya Avesh Mano. Is it clear? Like Hindi? Huh? Mera Avesh, my Avesh. So now the word used here is Avesh. You know the word, the meaning of word Avesh. I heard an example. If you go to the India, not present India, say past India, say 20 years ago, anyone would have heard a radio commentary of a cricket match. Rupam Prabhu must have heard, I'm sure. I've also heard, I'm not saying I've not. Huh?
Yes, Prabhu.
India-Pakistan match, and the commentary is going on, and this commentator is describing there are only 6 balls to go, and India has to, make, say, 12 runs in 6 balls, and some bowler from Pakistan bowling. So now if you're hearing that commentary, and there are 20 people in the room, will anyone be speaking any other thing other than hearing the commentary? Full on absorption. Even if a makhi comes there, a fly comes, you will be so disturbed why this fly has to come here. If anyone else comes, people get so angry. I have to listen the commentary, Sachin is in the last ball and he has to hit a 6. What's happening? What's happening? What's happening? Your whole existence will be absorbed in that cricket commentary of India-Pakistan match. Last 2 balls left and 8 runs to score. Is it right or wrong? This is called Avesh. Now, this is the Avesh we need to get in Bhagavad Katha. Now, how many of us have that Avesh in Bhagavad Katha? I don't have that much. This is called Maya Avesh Mano Ye Mam. So your mind should be Aveshit, so much absorbed in me like this. The people who have so much absorption, this is called Maya Avesh. You would have heard, I have not seen it from my eyes, but I've heard in Navratra, sometime some ladies say, unke andar Mataji aayi hain. Huh? So Durga Rani appears. Rupam Prabhu, you might have heard in Bengal sometime, I'm sure. Huh? I've heard. I've not seen it. So the lady is speaking. Huh?
Very common, Prabhu.
Very
Every
common.
now and then some Mataji appears in some other Mataji's body.
Very common. I'm not sure people take benefit of that. Someone. has to express their heart out, they will say, Mataji aayi thi. So you just speak whatever you like to speak and blame to, Durga ji. No, anyway, I've not seen it. But this is called Avesh. Avesh means you are not you. You are just fully absorbed in that. So Krishna is saying, Maya Avesha. So people who have so much absorption in me, Nitya Yukta Upaste. Now, if I just open the 12.1 again, just comparing. So Arjun was using the word Satata Yukta. Krishna is using the similar words. Nitya Yukta, Upasate, Paryupasate. Same word. Krishna is responding in a very nice way. Maya Avesha Mano Yamam. So one who have Avesh in me. Now Prabhupada writes in simple English here, those who fix their minds on me. Complete fixation in Krishna. Nityukta Paste. Shraddhaya Paryopeta. So Shraddhaya, they have transcendental faith in me. So it's not a mundane thing as we have this Avesh of a cricket match or something. No. Shraddhaya Paryopetas. Teme Yukta Tamamata. So they are Yukta Tamamata, they are the best situated in me. They are the most perfect. Now, anyone sees any ambiguity in this statement of Krishna? It's very, very clear what Krishna's preference is. So in the second verse of this chapter, Krishna is like putting a sixer, chakka laga diya. That's what they say in cricket match, chakka. Pura chakka, this clear cut, there's no ambiguity left. No unclear statement is saying, if you have Avesh of me, you're worshipping me Nitya, Satatyuktanam, Shraddha, you have transcendental faith, you are the best situated. Now, which was the second category of Arjuna? Who are the worshipper or the followers of impersonal aspect of yours? Who is the best? He's saying most perfect. Now, Krishna will analyze in next 3 verses about the second category. What is Krishna's opinion about the impersonalist? So let's see. Now, there are 2 verses here. Some Sanskrit scholars can read. Shraddha Mata. I don't see Vijay Gopi. Oh, she's there, but maybe somewhere else.
He's driving, Prabhu.
No, that's fine. That's why I didn't ask Mataji.
Sure, Prabhu. Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna. Yetam aksharam anirdeshayam.
Yetam aksharam anirdesham.
Avyaktam paryupasate.
Avyaktam paryupasate.
Sarvatragam achintyam cha.
Sarvatragam achintyam cha.
Kutastham achalam dhruvam.
Kutastham achalam dhruvam.
Sanniyamendriya gramam.
Sanniyam indriya gramam.
Sarvatra samabuddhayah.
Sarvatra samabuddhayah.
Te prapnuvanti mam eva.
Te prapnuvanti mam eva.
Sarvabhuta hite rataha.
Sarvabhuta hite rataha.
Translation: but those who fully worship the unmanifested, that which lies beyond the perception of the senses, the all-pervading, inconceivable, unchanging, fixed, and immovable, the impersonal conception of the absolute truth, by controlling the various senses and being equally disposed to everyone, such persons engaged in the welfare of all at last achieve me. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. So now in this verse, before we start, we'll just read one line. Te prapnuvanti mam eva. Prapnuvanti means apnuvanti. They achieve mam eva. They also achieve me. But how do they achieve me? This is what we are reading here. So there are 8 components or 8 addresses to the impersonalism are given here. Let's see what those 8 addresses are. Aksharam. Akshar means, now you have to sort of translate for me. And you can unmute yourself and just fatafat Akshar. Shar and Akshar. You can read it, proper translation as well if you don't understand.
Beyond the perception of the senses.
Beyond the perception of senses, thank you. Anirdesham. So nirdesh karna. Anirdesh. Undescribable. So Prabhupada writes here, indefinite. Avyaktam, that's very easy.
Unmanifest.
Avyakt, unmanifest. So unmanifest, we cannot see just by the normal eyes. Paripasate is upasana, that's fine. Sarvatragam. Sarvatragam means?
All pervading.
All pervading. Gam means jana. Sarvat means everywhere. So who goes everywhere? Who goes everywhere? Brahman goes everywhere. That we can sort of achintya. no chinta, achintya, inconceivable, inconceivable. So just try to understand these words of Sanskrit. They're very easy actually. Just by breaking the words, you'll understand. And then you can read proper translation as well. Kutastham, kuta. Kuta means
Unchanging.
Unchangeable, who cannot be moved actually. Kuta. Kuta also means mountain. So can you change the mountain? Unless you're Hanumanji, maybe you can. But you know, Kuta, sthir, sthir. Achalam, achalam, similar thing, just re-emphasizing the point. Achala, chala means to move, achala means immovable. And dhruva,
fixed.
Very determined, fixed. So Prabhupada writes here, dhruva is fixed as well. So how many are given? Mohit Prabhu, you can count?
8.
So can you count? Verse number 1, Akshara,
Aksharam,
Anidesham, yeah.
Anidesham, Avyaktam, Paripasate,
No, Paripasate nahi.
Sarvatra.
So
Sorry,
these 3 are
Sarvatragam.
there. Sarvatragam
Yeah.
1, 4,
Achintayam,
5,
Kutastham,
6,
Achalam, and
7,
Dhruvam.
8. Okay, so the 8 aspects are given. Now, San Niyama. So Niyam means regulation. San Niyam means complete regulation of whom? Indriya Gramam. So here Grama doesn't refer to the village. Grama refers to a group. Indriya Gram. Indriya Gram, controlling all the senses. So we have a group of senses. So not only just control your eyes or nose, the tongue you're leaving. No. Sarvendriya, San Niyama, Indriya Gramam. Gramam refers to the Samuha, group. So you have to control all the Indriyas and worship these 8 aspects. On top of that, what you should have the quality of Sarvatra Samabuddhayaha. Samabuddhaya means you'll have equal vision towards every single living entity. Sarvatra, everywhere, Samabuddhaya, equi-vision. You should have equi-vision. Te prapnuvanti mam eva. They also achieve me. And the last aspect given here is Sarva Bhut Hite Rataha. And they will be engaged in what? Hita. Hita means benefit. Of whom? Sarva Bhuta. So this verse can be understood actually in different ways, but we can just do a simple way here. So the 8 aspects of absolute truth is given here. 8 addresses of the absolute truth, which is impersonal, is given in this particular verse. But that itself is not necessary. If you want to achieve Krishna, you also should have an equi-vision. You should be able to control all your indriyas completely. San Niyama. So there's a Niyam and San Niyam. Anyone else can give any other words which is similar? Kirtan and Sankirtan, right? So Kirtan is a glorification. Sankirtan means Samyak Kirtan. Samyak means complete glorification. So here Niyama, San Niyama. San Niyama means complete control. So all your senses, including your mind, cannot stray even for a second. This is what the requirements are. As well as you should have Sambuddhaya, you should have equi-vision, as well as you should be involved in Sarvabhuti Rata. You should be able to serve everyone. Now, if you have all that, they praptuvanti mameva, they will also achieve me. Is Krishna saying they are the topmost? No, they're saying they will also achieve me. As per Bhagavatam, in 10.14, 10th canto, 14th chapter, we read Brahma's prayer, and Brahmaji very clearly is saying, yes, they will achieve, but after long time. And then Radha Govind Maharaj explains there, and he says, after long time means when they are frustrated with the impersonal aspect, they will become devotees, and then they will achieve Krishna. So like you are being devotee, and that's why it's considered being devotee is like a ladder. Rather, you go here, you go to, suppose you want to go to Sydney. So, okay, you are in one part of Sydney, say in North Sydney, say in Temple, and you want to go to your home. Who lives where? I don't know. Vaman Chetra, for example. Glenfield, you have to travel. So you can travel Glenfield via Sydney Harbour Tunnel and arrive in 40-50 minutes, something like that. Or you can go to Brisbane and come back to Glenfield. Is that possible? It's a possible option, right? You can go to Brisbane. Or it's another possible is you not only go to Brisbane, you go to Cairns and you go to Japan and you go to America and then you round the world and you come back there. That's also a possible option. So reaching to Glenfield, there can be multiple ways. But is it very intelligent to achieve another ways or take a direct way? Take the Harbour Tunnel, go straight there and you reach Glenfield in 40 minutes. or you can go to Brisbane, you can go to Cairns, and you can go around the earth. So which one is better way? So better way is, intelligent way is just spend 40 minutes and reach to Glenfield. So they will also achieve. It's not Krishna is saying they will not achieve. So Maharaj says they will also achieve, but after they are completely frustrated and they have become devotees, then they will achieve Krishna. And in this verse, you can say Krishna does not say, so Krishna is not saying any negative about them, but he's saying, yes, they will also achieve me. On top of this, Krishna says this famous verse. I'm sure Rupam Prabhu, it will be in your list. I've not seen the list, but I'm sure it should be there. This very famous verse. Many devotees quote this verse again and again. Who will read this famous verse? Rasanand Prabhuji, would you like to read?
Yes, I'll try. Klesho dikaratastesham avyakta shakta chetasam avyakta he gati dukhaham deha avabhidir avapyate. For those whose mind are attached to the unmanifested, impersonal feature of the Supreme, advancement is very troublesome. To make progress in that disciple is always difficult for those who are embodied.
Thank you. So now Krishna is sort of adding few points from his side, saying klesha. Everyone knows this word klesha? I'm sure devotees know this word klesha. Three types of kleshas, miseries, yes. Huh? So Krishna starts the verse 12.5. If you follow the impersonal aspect, what will happen? Klesha adhik. Not only klesha, he's saying klesho adhik sarastesham. So what they will get? Klesha. Who will get klesha? Now Krishna re-emphasizes. Now if you're not able to connect to 12.4, so he just sort of emphasizes this here. Avyakta asakta chetasam, who are asakta. So there is two words, asakta and asakta. Huh? So here Krishna is using the word asakta, not asakta, asakta. Avyakta asakta chitta, their mind is attached with what? Avyakta. So person who are attached to impersonalism, what they will achieve? Klesha adhik. There's a lot of klesha in that. On top of that, avyakta hi gatir dukkham. What does gati mean? Hare naam eva kevalam. Kalau, nastev, gatir, anyata. There is no other gati. Huh? Gati means destination. Thank you, Prabhu. Huh? So gatir dukkham, and the destination is dukkha. So Krishna very clearly is saying what you will achieve: adhik klesha, more misery, and gatir, destination as dukkha. Especially if you are deha vadbhir avapyate. So deha vadbhir, ones who have obtained, avapyate means obtained. What you have obtained? Deha. So you all have deha. Anyone here who doesn't have a deha, please raise your hand. Everyone has deha. You are sitting here, that's a proof you have deha. You're in the material world, that means you have a deha. We are talking to each other, we are seeing each other. That means we all have deha. So if you have deha, Krishna's recommendation in this verse is don't go to impersonal aspect. Don't go to impersonal aspect. Why? Because you will have more miseries and gatir dukkham. Very, very clear statement. I don't know why after reading this, this personalism and impersonalism, they keep fighting. Why they will fight is clearly written here. You can do it, you will achieve Krishna. We are not denying it. But actually, if you have deha, you will have a lot of miseries. Gatir dukkham, your destination is dukkha, unless you become devotees and then you go back to Godhead. So very, very clearly, Krishna is recommending the path of personal transcendental devotion to him over the path of impersonal aspect. Yes, Jai Dharma Prabhu.
Prabhu, I think in the previous verse, there is a mention about Iva, certainly, which you also mentioned, as Krishna is saying, like they will also definitely achieve me.
Yeah.
The path is klesha, which is difficult to achieve. So we know that like both would attain, but at the same time, one path is difficult.
Not only one path is only difficult, Prabhu, one path joins the another path. So it's not we are saying that there are two different paths and they will just independently reach destination. No, we are saying if you start from this path, on the path while you have lots of problems, and then finally when this path merges to the first path, which is the bhakti path, then only you will achieve the destination.
Yeah. So I mean to say, even the people who are there could be some exceptions where people who are trying that unmanifest Brahman merging, or but there was no place, at least whatever I could read, there was no place where it has been taken as a belittled. It is more of it's only a difficulty wise it has been mentioned. There was a lot of discussion around like bringing down the other path, which we see in most of the places, but that's one aspect, Prabhu. And another, just a comment, actually, one of the Guru Maharaj, when he was there, one Prabhu has asked this question: what do we need to do anything for the people who are following that impersonal path? So Maharaj's comment was like, unless until you are Chaitanya Mahaprabhu or somebody, you are not, you can't attain. So you have to let them be on the path what they have. They just I thought of sharing, Prabhu, but yeah, it's just that the one path is definitely seems very difficult, and the other one is more tangible, which being we are, as you rightly mentioned, we are embodied, and building that relationship would be much easier path than doing the other path. But even the other path is bona fide path. That's all. I just thought of it's difficult, but it's definitely bona fide as per.
Yes. If you have to just make this a statement, yes, it's a bona fide path, and Krishna is saying, you will come to me. Krishna is saying that. But how that will happen, like you can say, in an exam, you have to achieve 100% marks, and you'll say, is it possible? The answer is yes, definitely it's possible. But another person is saying, I give you entrance in 30% marks. So now, who will get the entrance faster? 100% marks is possible? Yes, possible. But how? Chaitanya Prabhu gave very nice analogy here. He says, creating vacuum is extremely difficult. Creating vacuum means you should not have any other thought except the vacuum. That's very, very difficult. And he's saying the easiest thing is destroy a vacuum. One thought enter into the mind and you're finished. So that's why it's highly, highly recommended by our acharyas. You can achieve Krishna. If you remember in 8th chapter, Krishna himself says Bhakti path is Sulabha Partha. Is very Sulabha. So Bhakti path is very Sulabh. Now it's not super easy in that sense that Krishna is very cheap. No, he is not cheap. But relatively speaking, comparison to other paths, Bhakti path is super, super easy. But other paths are very, very difficult. Thank you, Prabhu. Charu Mataji.
Prabhu, just an observation. If you look at the first 6 chapters, Krishna doesn't say mom, me, I so many times. But if you look at the second section, ever since we've started learning, reading the second section, from chapter 7 onwards, we see that he has referred to himself and his personal form so many times. For instance, one of the shlokas I can remember is, I think, Mayadhyakshena prakriti suyate characharam. Yeah, and then he just says avajananti mamudha. So there also he's saying this. There are other
724.
724. Yes.
725.
And so if you look at it, he's just emphasized on his personal form more often in this section than he has in the first 6 chapters of the Bhagavad Gita, which means that if you focus on him is easier than focusing on any other objects in the universe.
Absolutely. And this is what actually he himself is sort of endorsing here. That is saying avyaktahi gatir dukham. So he's not saying no, but he's saying himself is saying, because he's the Adi Guru, he's saying klesho dikhatarastesham avyaktasatachesam avyaktahi gatir dukham. So it's very important to read the statements of Krishna here. So although he's not saying no, but at the same time he's sort of saying, excuse me, are you sure that you want to follow that path? So it's not saying no, that's correct. And that's why Mataji, you see in Bhagavad Gita is being commented by so many people, including personalists. Because there are some loopholes, you see, so-called loopholes, obviously they're clear, so-called loopholes, which they emphasize a lot, like praveshtum. We read the word praveshtum 1154. Actually, it's tatvena praveshtum, not just praveshtum. And even if you say praveshtum, it doesn't make a sense. It doesn't make a sense. So they use these sort of word jugglery to prove their point, but there's not much there, not much there. And if you read even those words in context to other verses, it's very clear. But they just emphasize that again and again, more and more. I was listening Chaitanya Charan Prabhu in one of the verses for 10.8 or 10.9, I can't remember. Anyway, so Prabhu was explaining Mayavadis have hard time here. God is so clearly written, worship me. Manmana abhav mad bhakto. It's so clear. They have hard time. And they use some word jugglery there and they skip to those verses and they capture these verses like praveshtum, praveshtum, praveshtum. So everyone sort of emphasizes. But if you see the whole flow of Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is, as you're saying, so many times he is saying, my bhakti is so clear. I'm so easily available. Anyway, they overlook those aspects. Thank you,
And
Mataji.
this is also another aspect of Shabda Praman. So
yes,
Lord himself is saying this.
Yep, absolutely. Prasannatma Prabhuji.
Prabhu, here Lord says even the impersonalist can achieve. Does it mean that they have to take birth again, like Bhavanam Janmanam and Jnanavan Mantra? They again have to become devotee and then they will go back? That's how.
Absolutely.
That's
That's what, yeah, I gave the reference of His Holiness Radha Govinda Maharaj. He said they will get frustrated, they will become devotees, and then they will achieve Krishna. So he clearly mentions that. Yes, Prabhuji, you're right.
Okay.
And you connected the verse very nicely. 719 is the verse for Gyanis. Those Gyanis eventually, Bhavanam Janmante, after many, many births, they will realize, actually, you know what? Krishna is everything. Vasudeva Sarvati Samatma Sudurlabha. Perfect linkages of the verses. Thank you. You all are reading nicely. I'm so happy. Okay, let's move forward. So we understand what's Krishna's opinion regarding the followers of impersonalism. Now, let's see what other things Krishna has to say for the followers of Bhakti Marga. So this is also very nice and encouraging verses, which Krishna has given 12.6 to 7. So
Can I
This
read
verse,
it?
remember, Prabhu.
Oh, Haribol, thank you, Mohit Prabhu.
Oh,
Yes,
this is the verse, not the previous one.
5th is not there, but I
No,
humbly request
6, 7, 8.
put in your list. 12.5 is very, very nice verse, very easy. You can give as a defeat to Mayavas if you have to. Now, I have to say here, don't just try to defeat the people. I'm not saying that, but it's one of the things which we can use from Bhagavad. Many times we try to defeat and then actually we defeat the purpose. We may defeat the person, but we don't defeat his ego. So try to, judge where you have to quote these verses, but you can clearly quote the verse when it's relevant in that scenario. But in your personal list, make a personal list on top of the MIHE list. Many, many nice verses of Bhagavad Gita. You can just read every day. One verse take 5 to 6 seconds to read. Very easy. Don't cram it, just read it. And after 100 days, you will know 30, 40 verses very easily. Okay, Charu Mataji, please.
Ye tu sarvani karmani.
Ye tu sarvani karmani.
Mai sanyasya matparaha.
Mai sanyasya matparaha.
Ananyenaiva yogena.
Ananyenaiva yogena.
Mam dhyayanta upasate.
Mam dhyayanta upasate.
Tesham aham samuddharta.
Tesham aham samuddharta.
Mrityu samsara sagarat.
Mrityu samsara sagarat.
Bhavami na chirat partha.
Bhavami na chirat partha.
Maya veshtita chetasam.
Maya veshita chetasam.
Translation. Oops, sorry. I don't know what happened. Oh, please bear with me. I clicked something. Okay. Yeah.
No problem.
Translation. But those who worship me, giving up all their activities unto me, and being devoted to me without deviation, engaged in devotional service and always meditating upon me, having fixed their minds upon me, O son of Partha, Pritha, O son of Pritha, for them I am the swift deliverer from the ocean of birth and death. Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Ye tu sarvani karmani. Very easy. Sarvani karmani. But, so two word is important. Anyone remembers another famous verse which has the word tu? Now I'm not
Krishnastu
talking.
Bhagavan Swayam.
Thank you, Prabhuji. What's the number? 1328. Huh? So two word is important, but. So but always is to change the reference here. So what's the reference so far? Impersonalist aspect, right? We're saying tu. Ye tu, other than that. Huh? So what we have just read in contrast to that, that means what's the previous theme? Bhakti theme. Ye tu sarvani karmani, all their karma, mai sannyasa. Sannyasa refers to giving up the karma. So they give all the karmas to me. Mat para. Mat para. Everyone knows mat para. We have read this earlier. Mat para in the 1155. Jaya Dharma Prabhu explained very nicely. Huh?
Goal.
Supreme goal. Yes, yes, Prabhuji. Mat para means make me as a supreme goal. So my sannyasa, what do you sannyas? What do you give up? Sarvani karmani. Not only one karma in the morning. Many Hindus, so-called Hindus, do 2-minute puja in the morning. I'm also a devotee. Yes, 2-minute puja is good, but what happens to your 23 hours and 58 minutes? Now in ISKCON, Chaitanya Prabhu was saying, beautiful line is saying, many times this so-called Hindus think bhakti is a part of life, but we appreciate life is a part of bhakti. Our life is a part of bhakti. Whatever we do, it's for bhakti. At least we try. We struggle, but at least we try that way. Our concept is very clear. We are not doing bhakti as a part of our life. Monday to Friday, we are bhaktas, and Saturday, Sunday, we are in a beer bar. Not like that. Actually, we are in a beer bar. Hare Krishna center, in whichever city we are in a beer bar. You see, every time devotees just try to run to temple. Kab ja sakte hain? And it's so nice to be there. And kids, especially when they go to temple, they never want to come out. They never want to come out. You have to drag them back home. They love Krishna so much. So yes, we also have a Rasalayam. Our Rasalayam is 180 Falcon Street, which is very nice. So ye tu sarvani karmani mai sanyasya matparaha anyanya neva yogena mam dhyayanta upasate. So mam dhyan, so he's talking about mam dhyan, so who meditate on me. How? Ananya neva. Anyone else remember a verse where we read this word ananya recently?
Ananya chintayanta mam jana parjupaste.
Hari bol. Thank you, Prabhuji. 9:14. And a recent verse?
Ananya Bhakti, is it that?
Yes, which verse, Mataji? Bhaktyatu Ananya Shakya, 1154. We just read it today. So Ananya Naiva Yogena. So what sort of yoga Krishna prefers? Ananya, exclusive yoga, not just yoga 1 hour a day, 2 hour a day, 2 minutes a day, every Sunday, not like Ananya Yoga. And as we have read different verses as well. So Yetu Sarvani Karmani, one who gives up all the Palakarma to me, he makes me the supreme goal, and he constantly connecting with me. Tesham, for those, Aham Samudharta. Samudharta means deliverer. We have a postman as a delivery man who brings your letter or parcel or something like that. So he is also a deliverer. What is he delivering from? Mrityu Sansar Sagarat. I will deliver them. Right? Swift deliverer. I am the swift deliverer. Swift means easy deliverer. Aisa nahi hai ki, when the courier man comes, he will ask you, Prabhu, do you know how to, what do you call that, yogasan, when you go your body upside down? Some yoga people will know. Shirshasana. Haribol, here we are. Shirshasana. So the courier man will say, Prabhu, first you do Shirshasana. Can you do Shirshasana? Then I will deliver your goods to you. No, nothing you have to do. You just have to open the door, accept the delivery. Sometime he'll ask you to sign. He doesn't ask you anything else. So Krishna is saying, I am the swift deliverer. From where? Mrityu Sansara Sagara. From this Sansara of Mrityu. I will deliver you very swiftly, very easily. You don't have to worry too much about it. Okay, you will deliver me very swiftly, but maybe after 1 million lifetimes. He says, Bhavami na chirat partha. Na chirat. Na chirat means chir means in Hindi, sometimes elderly people will give Ashirvad. Chirayu bhav. Chir ayu. Chir means long time. Ayu means age. May you have long life. So Krishna is saying, na chirat. What does it mean, Jamati Mataji? Na chirat?
Sorry, Prabhu. People are making too much noise here. I'm just not concentrating. I'm so sorry.
No problem. All I'm asking, what does word nachirat mean?
Not chir. Short life.
So chir means long time. Nachirat means
Shortly.
jaldi se, swiftly and shortly. When Maharaj was giving lecture somewhere in Dubai or one of those UAE countries, and one person was sort of arguing with Maharaj, I'm taking holy name, I'm doing this seva, this and that, why I'm not able to go back to Krishna straight away. So Maharaj made beautiful statement and he said, you will go back to Godhead earlier than what you deserve. You'll go back to Godhead earlier than what you deserve, but it will be longer than what you think. It will be longer than what you think. We all want to go back to Godhead today. Aaj Ram ka naam liya. Today I have spoken word Ram, Krishna, Narayan, Madhav, Govind. Why I'm not able to go back to God and say it will be longer than what you expect, but earlier than what you deserve. So this is so beautiful a statement, so beautiful a statement. So we cannot take Krishna so cheaply that just by chanting one name, which most of the time we don't have any bhava in that name, although one name is able to take you back to Godhead. Just one name of Krishna, just one name. No second name is needed, technically speaking, but it has to have some eligibility criteria. We have no bhava, no attention most of the time. So Maharaj said beautifully, you will go back to Godhead earlier than what you deserve, because we have done so much sin in our previous life, in this life, so much aparad. We should go back to Godhead probably after trillion years or zillion years. So you will go back to Godhead earlier than that, earlier than what you deserve. You deserve to get so much punishment, but he said no, but longer than what you expect. So we all expect tomorrow will be going back to Godhead, but it will not happen, because if you go back to Godhead tomorrow, the next question will ask to Krishna, when I have to go back? Meri bhais ko pani kaun pilayega? Who's going to feed my buffalo? In the material world, on the earth, I have a buffalo. Who's going to feed that buffalo? Because we still have our attachments. So beautiful statement by Krishna. Testesham aham samudharta. I am the swift deliverer. Very easily I will deliver them, and very soon. What is the eligibility criteria? Maya aveshit chetasam. You should have chitta in Krishna, not chitta in your property, investment, family, this problem, that problem. So how do I solve this? How do I solve that? Listening Swayam Bhagwan Keshav Maharaj, and he was giving beautiful example, very simple example. If you are in a jail, you go to this jail keeper, a person there, and say, Bhai Sahab, this darwaza nahi khul raha hai. This door is not getting opened. There's a problem with the door. Can you call someone? This door is not opening. So what he's going to tell you, this door is supposed to be not get opened, isn't it? That's how it is. You cannot say in the jail, Prabhu, I'm getting every day, this dal chawal, dal chawal, dal chawal. Sometime I can get dosa, sometime idli. And what he will tell you, this is supposed to be like that. In this world, I think His Holiness Radhanath Maharaj said very nicely, he said, there's a new restaurant in the town, but there is no menu. You get what you deserve. There's no menu. You cannot go and order dosa and idli is there. You get what you deserve. And this is the restaurant of karma. So we are all in the restaurant of karma. You say, I don't go to the restaurant. Actually, we are all in a restaurant, isn't it? Mahasu Prabhu, we are all in a restaurant, enjoying nice meals, but the meals are here of reactions of our karma. So we are all in a restaurant, we are all getting served, but we don't choose. If we had to choose, we'll choose all these nice things, but hardly life offers something so-called nice. Life offers what we deserve, not what we desire. So in this restaurant, we are all sitting here and we are all getting served what we deserve. So Maya Chesam, so whoever has this chitta absorbed in Krishna, for them Krishna becomes Tesham Aham Samudharta. Anyone can relate this word Aham with another verse in Bhagavad Gita? I'll give you the hint. It's in 9th chapter. Very personal. So he's saying, I'll personally deliver you. Not Krishna is saying, I will get it delivered by Jai and Vijay. Nothing like that. He's saying, Aham.
Yoga kshemam vahamyaham.
Haribol. Aaj so maza aa raha hai class mein. I'm having so much fun. Everyone is giving references so nicely. Very good.
Prabhu is also there.
Okay. In this, Yoga Kshemam Vahamyam is more appropriate because he's saying, I will look after you. And here is saying, I will deliver you. Huh? So Krishna is taking a personal responsibility of delivering you, of looking after you. That's very important. Now, answer Prabhu, the supremacy of Krishna is proved, basically. It's not, no relationship is proved. Here, the personal relationship with Krishna. Huh? Now, President says, Jadharam Prabhu has a problem in his local area. I think he lives in Hornsby, and he goes to the president, and president says, I'll look after it. Now, what he's going to do, you'll make a phone call to your local MP or MLA, and MLA will make a phone call to another person, and your job may get done. But president is not going to come to your Hornsby area and try to fix your water problem or something. But here Krishna is saying, Tesham aham samudharta, I will deliver them. That's amazing statement, huh? Amazing statement. And I've kept a photo for all of you. I'm sure you would have seen this photo. It's a beautiful photo. I love this, huh? This is called Tesham aham samudharta. Krishna personally will extend his hand towards you and say, come on, come on, come on, come up. But when we see Krishna, what we say, Krishna, can you come tomorrow? Today I have a very interesting match to watch. Aaj final match, India-Pakistan. World Cup, final match. Krishna, please, tomorrow, chalega? Krishna says, okay, no problem. No problem at all. You be engaged in your cricket match or whatever match you like. So this verse is very beautiful. So Krishna personally becomes the swift deliverer of the person who has Maya Aveshet Chedsam. And when does he do that? Not after zillion lifetimes. Bhavami na chirat partha. It will not be late. It will not be late. Huh? Beautiful verse.
Prabhu, 1866 is also aham. 1866 he also aham tvam sampa.
Very nice. Huh? So the relationship to the bhakta with Krishna is very personal. Krishna is a very personal God. And that's another proof. Just remember, thank you, Mataji, where some Maharaj was saying, I can't remember who, but saying Krishna is a personal God. Huh? He is not just a judge, just a neutral. He's personal God, and he loves you personally. Because the person has emotion. Huh? Imperson cannot have any emotion. And Krishna understands we are stuck in this material world. We don't like this word. This word is Dukhalyam Shashvatam. And Krishna is keep repeatedly saying in different places, aham, aham, aham. And he means aham means me, not my energies. Thank you, Mataji. Let's go to the next one. Now, from 12.8 to 12.11, Krishna is going to give the ladder of bhakti, the progressive stages of bhakti. How Krishna, Sundar Gopal Prabhu, you have a question from the previous verse?
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Yes, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
So
Yes.
just from the previous verse that you said that Krishna is personal. So I just wanted to ask Prabhu, does Krishna gets upset as well with the devotee? Or like if he has emotions, like, we don't, if we are not able to serve him or we miss most of the time, but yeah, but sometimes if we just, if he expects and we are not able to satisfy him, does he get upset or he's always merciful?
Okay, thank you, Mata. Nice question. Before I answer your question, can I say one thing, if you don't mind? Now you say sometimes we are not able to satisfy him. Can I put it other way? Only sometimes we are able to satisfy him. Most of the time we are not. And the proof is we are all here in the material world, isn't it? Makes sense? It's not sometimes. One day Prabhupada was asked one of his disciples, Prabhupada, sometimes I fall in Maya. Prabhupada said, most of the time you are in Maya. Sometimes you become devotee. Huh? So we all have this misconception. It says sometimes. Actually, it's not sometimes. We are all the time not satisfying Krishna or Guru. Sometimes, yes, I have to say that. Sometimes we all do some wonderful services which satisfies Krishna. Now, that's one aspect to the question. Another aspect is, Guru Maharaj says, Krishna is not a fault-finding God. He's a very sweet God. Huh? Suppose your child is, 2 or 2.5 years old. He starts walking and he falls down. Do you get upset at your child? You don't even know how to walk? You're a human child? And you say, mama, 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 papa, something like that. Huh? Totally boli. Do you get upset or you get happy? Happy. Actually become very happy. Now your child is, I think, 6 or 7 years old. He's walking. Do you get any surprises if he's walking? No, it's just default. But when a 2-year child starts walking, actually it's surprising. Huh? So when the jiva in the material world is always have Kam, Krodh, Lobh, Moh, Mad, Matsar, if the jiva, even with the broken words, he says, Krishna, Narayan, even once, broken word, no intention for Krishna, you're calling your own son, he becomes supremely happy. This jiva is calling me, It says when Ajamil Upakyan, when Vishnu Dutas, went to get Ajamil, it says by our Acharya, it says Ajamil wasn't calling the sons of Krishna. And this Acharya asking Krishna, Ajamil wasn't taking your name. So Krishna said, but he was taking my name. But Acharya said, but his intention wasn't there, So Krishna says, I only sees the action, not the intention. And this Acharya goes back, what about Shabri? Shabri was doing a wrong action. Her intention was good. And Krishna says, but intention was good. Action was not good, chalega. So Krishna is saying, sometimes you see action, sometimes you see intention. Tell me one thing, you see action or intention. In case of Indra, his action was not good, his intention was not good. And Krishna says, Baad mein maafi to manga na. He asked for forgiveness later. Somehow or other, whether your action is correct, whether your intention is correct, whether your action, intention, both are incorrect. And you say, Gopinath, please maaf kar do, please, sorry, Gopinath. I fell down again. Sorry, Gopinath. And what Gopinath is going to say? Get out, get out from my temple. He stands like a Jagannath. Come, I'll hug you. I'm standing 24/7, Jagannath standing and ready to hug you. And we are like looking at, which is the new movie of Amir Khan. Jagannath is always ready, Gopinath is always, so he's not a fault-finding God. So when sometimes you satisfy him, or most of the time you satisfy him, he's just waiting. He's not a fault-finding God. Now, technically, I'll just give you one more example because you asked a very nice question. In Chaitanya Charitamrita, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is no other than Krishna, is showing he's upset. Many times devotees did not perform the quality service, and I can give an example of Mukunda, Chota Haridas Thakur. These devotees, I'll not explain the pastime here. They did something which did not satisfy Krishna, and he says to Mukunda, I will not see your face for 10 million lifetimes. He says to Chota Haridas Thakur, when he committed suicide, he did it right. Prabhupada also had a disciple, I'll not name it. He was a sannyas disciple of Prabhupada, he committed suicide, and Prabhupada said, he did it right. So Prabhupada is not crying, he said he did it right. So what it means, they made some mistakes in their ashrama, in their expected behavior, and when they repent on that, Krishna was like, okay. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, I will not see your face for 10 million lifetimes. Now Chaitanya Mahaprabhu hugs Jagai and Madhai, and he's saying to his own devotee, his own associate, I'll not see your face. Haridas Thakur, Chota Haridas Thakur committing suicide. What is this? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu did get upset. So we should try in our consciousness, we should not do anything which goes against Guru or Krishna. We should try. Now, we all make mistakes. No matter how much we try, knowingly or unknowingly. Keep improving. But in general, Krishna is not a fault-finding God. He's a very, very loving God, 24/7, available to take you as soon as you are ready. He is so sweet. Is that okay?
Yes, sir. Thank you. Very nice.
We can say a lot here. Yes, Mataji, Vijay Gopi Mataji.
Yeah, Hare Krishna Prabhu. I just wanted to say that's why Lord Jagannath has got big eyes to just see only the good of us.
Beautiful.
And I heard in the lecture, like even Lord Ranganath, he closes his eyes not to find any fault on us.
Absolutely right. So Krishna's form is so beautiful, as Mataji said. When you have done even little service, someone was saying Jagannath has big eyes. You know why? Because he's X-raying your millions of lifetimes. Kabhi kuch kiya hai isne? It has in any life this person has done anything for me. And even if you have offered a little water or a flower to Krishna, he will remember. He says, you may forget what services you have done to Jagannath ji. Jagannath will never forget. That's amazing, isn't it? In this material world, we do so many services to so many people. Whole life you may dedicate to one person and he will still say, Kya kiya hai? What have you done for me? And you say, Arre, whole life I have dedicated for you. And now you're saying what I have done. So human beings are like that, but Krishna is not like that. Krishna is very beautiful, very, very sweet God. It's such a sweet topic, actually. So many pastimes coming in the mind. We will not explore them. But you
That's why he's also called Bhavagrahi.
Bhavagrahi Janardana. Thank you, Mata. See, our devotees are so nice. I'm so proud. Thank you, all the Matajis and all the Prabhujis. Give me blessings as well, so I can also remember these references. Very nice. Thank you, everyone. let's move forward. Where are we? Okay, we are here on verse 8. So these 4 verses which Krishna is going to give will tell the different stages of bhakti in different platforms where you can practice bhakti, because you can say, okay, bhakti is the best, we understand that, but I'm not so eligible to perform the bhakti. So Krishna is sort of giving different platforms where you can perform the bhakti. Let's read the topmost platform. Who hasn't read today? Mahavasu Prabhu. He's been silently sitting and hearing everyone.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Mayeva manadhastva.
Mayeva mana adhastva.
Mayi buddhi niveshaya.
Mayi buddhim niveshaya.
Nivashishyasi mayeva.
Nivashyasi maya eva.
Ata urdhvam na samshaya.
Ata urdhvam na sanshayah.
Just fix your mind upon me, the Supreme Personality Godhead, and engage all your intelligence in me. Thus, you will live in me always without a doubt.
Thank you. So maya eva mana adhastav. So now you can see this word is also mana adhastav, or living in me, avesh in me. He's saying again and again. So that you can consider as a topmost aspect where you have full avesh, as we were sort of giving a mundane example of a cricket match, final ball or whatever. We have so much avesh. Even in sorry to say, Bollywood movies, a hero is getting shot by villain, 30 bullets he throws into the body of this hero, but hero doesn't die. And you all get emotional and crying. A villain is taking away the heroine of the movie, and you all like get fully absorbed. So the absorption is needed. Parashar Muni gives a beautiful example, a mundane example, but it's in a verse which I don't remember. But he says, Yuvati naam yatha yuni. So Yuvati naam means, Yuvati means a young girl, and yuni means a yuvak, a young man. As naturally a young man is attracted towards a young lady, or other way, young lady attracted towards a young man. Similarly, Krishna, give me that avesh in my bhakti so I can get naturally attracted towards you. Now, we are all doing some aspects of bhakti in our own capacities, but we don't have any avesh, very little avesh. So what Parashar Muni is praying, the father of Vyasadeva is praying to Krishna, please give me that avesh which I can do your bhakti in what way? Natural attraction. Natural. Kunti Maharani also prays in verse 42, 1820, 1842. She prays to Gange Vogam Udanmati. As Ganga is naturally flowing towards ocean, let my avesh, let my consciousness flow towards you. No obstruction should come. No other mundane things should obstruct me. So similarly, Krishna is saying you should have this avesh, very high standard, but this is what it is. Mai buddhim nivesha, your intelligence, your mana. So mai arpit mano buddhi. Krishna is saying the same thing again here. Mai eva. Eva means certainly in me. Certainly in me. Adhastva, Prabhupada writes here as fix, complete fixation of your mana, of your buddhi. Niveshyasi, nivas, there's a Hindi word called nivas. Nivas means to stay. So where your mana and buddhi should do nivas. Nowadays, our buddhi is doing nivas in where? How can I get a better job? How can I get a better house, better reputation, better car, better facility, better material comforts? But Krishna is saying your nivas of buddhi and mana should be in maya eva. Maya eva. You look at this here. Similar repetition in maya eva, maya eva. In me, and certainly in me. If you do that, ata urdhvam na sanshayah, there is no doubt in that, you will come and live with me. So Krishna says, you will always live with me without a doubt. So there's a very, very high standard of bhakti, but this is what the final standard is. And this is what we call entrance exam of Goloka Vrindavan. So finally, you have to achieve this many marks, very high. But now someone can say, I don't have that much eligibility in me to practice bhakti. So do I not practice bhakti? So Krishna puts us one standard down. Let's see what that standard is. 12.9. Who hasn't read today? I'm not sure. Vinay Prabhu, if you could, I'm not sure. If you cannot, that's fine.
Yeah, I could, Prabhuji.
Oh, thank you, Prabhu.
Verse 9. Atha chittam samadhatum.
Atha chittam samadhatum.
Na shakloshi moi sthiram.
Na shaknoshi mai sthiram.
Abhasha yogena tato.
Abhyasa yogena tato.
Mamicha aptum dhananjaya.
Mam ichhaptum dhananjaya.
Translation. My dear Arjun, O winner of wealth, if you cannot fix your mind upon me without deviation, then follow the regulative principle of Bhakti Yoga. In this way, develop a desire to attain me. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. So now, if you cannot follow the first standard, which is Krishna repeating again, Atha Chittam Samadhatum. So Chitta Samadhatum in me. So you have your Chitta, your Avesh, your consciousness should stay in me. Nashaknoshi. If you cannot do that, Mai Sthiram, if you cannot meditate on me constantly in your Chitta, then what you should do, the second level Krishna is recommending, Abhyasa Yogin, you should do Abhyas. Anyone else remember the word Abhyasa used in Bhagavad Gita verse? Very, very famous words.
Abhyasena tu kaunteya.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. All devotees are nice. So Abhyas Yogin, you should do Abhyas. Now what you should do Abhyas of? Abhyas of a cricket match? Abhyas to become more popular? No, Abhyas Yogin, Mam Ipchaptum. So we don't have a natural desire to serve Krishna, to remember Krishna. That's fine. What you can do, Abhyas. Now here Abhyas refers to Navvidha Bhakti. Now we are all doing some chanting, some hearing, some Vandanam, some Padsevan. We are all doing that. But this is as Abhyas we are doing. So this is called Navvidha Bhakti. So we are not able to do sthir our mind, stable our mind in thinking about Krishna naturally all the time. So what we should do, Abhyas Yogena. Prabhupada writes here, regulative principles of Bhakti Yoga, which is what we are currently doing. Our mind is not there, but we are trying. And the result is very beautiful. We have some love for Krishna. My Guru Maharaj said, very nice example in a class. He said, many times devotees say, we don't have any love for Krishna. But he said, you actually all have love for Krishna. And he said, I can prove it. Now, I tell you all, do not chant your 16 rounds from today. How many of you are going to quit? He said that in a class, he challenged the class. He said, yeah, I don't love Krishna, but I cannot quit my rounds. Round has become a second nature. Now, it's not a quality round, but somehow or other, none of us can quit even one round, even if someone offers you $1 million or something. He said, that is a proof you all have love for Krishna. He was very encouraging. He was very encouraging in saying, we all have love for Krishna. Yes, but we need to develop it more. We need to develop it more. So from just Abhyas, which we are doing right now, Abhyas of 16 rounds, Abhyas of other deity worship and other things, we have to absorb. Absorption is not there at the moment. Natural absorption is not there. Our absorption is still outside. Bahar kya ho raha hai? So anyway, but he said we all have some little love for Krishna. That's definitely there. So what will happen? Mam ichhaptum dhananjaya. Why the word dhananjaya is used? Because dhananjaya means conqueror of wealth. So which wealth we should conquer? The wealth of attaining Krishna. That wealth we are lacking, isn't it? We all have desires to achieve so many things, but we don't have much desire to achieve Krishna. He's saying Abhyas Yoga. If you do Abhyas, what will happen? You will get more and more desire to achieve me. So many devotees have been chanting for 10 years, 20 years. We don't get desire to achieve Krishna. That is true. In one aspect, it can be completely true. But why? We haven't done enough Abhyas. And it can take multiple lifetimes. It's not one lifetime project, which may happen in one lifetime. It may take few lifetimes. So why are we expecting things to change overnight? It will just not happen overnight. Things takes time. Our natural attraction to Krishna will take some time. Although technically it may happen in a moment. Depends on the sincerity of the soul, which Radhanath Maharaj says. Depending on your sincerity, that long it will take, depending on your sincerity. Some devotees you see, they're so sincere. Some young devotees you see in the temple, 16, 18-year-old, and they're just completely shaved head. They've given up their whole life. They don't even have permanent visa. When we came here, we were worried about our PR. PR kab milega? Then Naukri kab milegi? When we're going to find a job? Then how are we going to buy a house or unit? Which area? We're just settling ourselves again and again. Just gave up early. I was listening one lecture about His Holiness Jai Pataka Maharaj, among Leela Prabhu's glorifying Maharaj, and I heard whole lecture like 2 or 20 minutes. amazing qualities of His Holiness Jayapataka Maharaj. How he started his journey in this life, I'm just saying, and how he surrendered to Prabhupada. Like within 2 weeks, he shaved off his head. Within 2 weeks of knowing Krishna, Hare Krishnas, within 2 weeks, in dhoti, kurta, shaved head, and he said, "Here I am, here I am." How long we took to start chanting 16 rounds? So we're not comparing, we cannot compare, but I'm saying so inspiring to hear these souls coming forward so soon, so quick. Mam ichhapto. So this wealth we have to achieve more and more. How we are achieving this? Other wealth is not so important. This wealth is very important. Okay, it's 5:52. I will stop here. The 10th verse is very connected. I wanted to do it today, but I think we'll stop here. Any quick questions or comments? You can take.
Prabhu,
Yes,
can I
Mataji?
ask
A quick one?
comment and question?
Yes, please, Mataji, if you want to add. Yes.
So, when we are in difficulties, we tend to, at least I tend to lose my faith. It gets shaken. And my tendency is that I am more attracted to Krishna and all the activities related to him in times where my mind is pleasant and happy and cheerful and everything, rather than when I am in a stage where there are reversals. So Bhakti Rasamrit Maharaj, there are 2 quotes. In one quote he says that before we are devotees, we need to remember we are human beings, and I'm paraphrasing. So we are human beings first, and then we become devotees. Secondly, he also said one time that if our material life is not doing too well, then our spiritual life also does not take off very well. So these 2 statements based on and what we are studying now, how would you correlate them?
Yeah, so I'll just give a quick answer. Bhakti Swami Maharaj gave a beautiful class. He came to Sydney, I can't remember, 12 years ago once, at Govind Hari Prabhu's place. And he was trying to say a similar thing, balancing material life and spiritual life. And the first line Maharaj said, I still remember, it was many years ago. He said, after practicing Krishna consciousness for 30 years or something, he said, 30 or 35, he said, I realize I'm the body. That's how Maharaj started. Now, how we start the Bhagavad Gita, we are not the body, we are the soul. So Maharaj started his class. He said, I realize I'm the body. And whole class, if you listen, someone has a recording, it was at Govind Hari Prabhu's place. Maharaj was so much encouraging on looking after your body and the relatives and other things related to the body. Because as you're saying correctly, Mataji, if you are sick, you're not well inside, you don't have much money, you have so many other problems, your mind will not be absorbed. It is true. Now, at the same time, obviously these statements are very valid, very practical. At the same time, your material life, sorry to say, will never get fully settled. No one's material life is fully settled. Some lackings will always be there. Your health will be a little bit less than what you desire. Your wealth will be a little bit less than what you desire. Your fame will be a little bit less what you desire. So we have to maturely, and that's very individual, take a conscious decision. Even if I get, $80 a day, which is hard to just pay my rent and, look after my basic amenities, it's fine. I can still chant my 16 rounds. Now that definition for you may be, I don't know, $16 or $800. I'm not saying that, and no one can define that. Everyone will have to take a decision, a line somewhere. My Guru Maharaj was saying in one class, he's saying, how much you're going to settle in the material world? Why are you trying to settle down? Why are you trying to settle down? Because it will never get settled. There always be some loose ends of your life. So in that sense, we'll never start practicing seriously Krishna consciousness. So he said you have to draw a line, which is again totally understood. If you're in a hospital, if your loved ones are in a hospital or in a very peculiar situation of life, you will be disturbed. You will be disturbed. So that's absolutely understood. But at the same time, don't go overboard saying, okay, let's stop my rounds, let's stop reading Bhagavad Gita, let's settle this part of my life. That will probably never happen. And Maharaj also explained, even if that is settled, by the time you settle it, another 3 new problems will be waiting for you, which will be just opening their big mouth. Attend me, attend me, attend me. Maharaj said like that, attend me. And it's true. We all understand, right? You solve one problem, even if you resolve it, 3 or 4 more major problems are waiting for you. So in that sense, we will never settle ourselves. But at the same time, we have to look after body properly. And I think Prabhupada said, or some other disciple of Prabhupada said, first is your health actually. First is your health, second is your family, third is your profession, and fourth is preaching. Someone said that. Now, how often we follow the order, we all know that, and I'm not going to comment on that. First priority is your health, because at the end of the day, you are residing in this body. So it's absolutely true, but how we apply in our personal individual life, that will vary. That will vary. So, okay.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Yeah. I know there are 2 more questions. I'm looking at the watch. Can I please humbly request, write your question, and we'll take it next time, because I know some devotees want to go to temple. Today is a special festival of His Holiness Radha Govind Maharaj Vyas Puja, and I'm also going. I'm not rushing because I have to go to temple, or I'm concerned about other devotees as well. So we should try to stop by 6.
Prabhu, just not question, just wanted, but that versus file is not working, Prabhu. I tried to click on that.
Okay.
So if you can send again the group, that will be good.
Rupam Prabhuji, please attend to that. And please test, some other devotees can test. And Prabhu, if you're not able to, just send personal message to Sundar Prabhu or Rupam Prabhuji. They will look after
Okay.
it. Huh?
Okay, Prabhu.
Yeah. Okay.
Prabhu, and also another, this is not a question, just one line.
Sorry.
On the contrary of what Charu Mataji said, I agree with her totally. When external things, or we are not fine materially, we are not. But again, Kunti Maharani prays for more problems, because the more we problem, the more devotional. That happens to us also. Like, it is both ways. If it is materially not convenient, we are not able to focus and progress devotionally. At the same time, when we are convenient, comfortable, then also we cannot progress. We should have problems actually in order to progress.
I have to say, what Madhuri Mata is saying is absolutely right. I remember personally speaking, the major problems when I had in my life, that was the day when I was mostly surrendered to Krishna. When I'm conveniently living, I'm doing my things. That's not a problem. But the surrender, the mental surrender is not there. When I had a lot of issues, my surrender was more than what I have now. I have to say
Same here, Prabhu.
So those problems I really love when I look backwards. Thank you, Krishna. Thank you so much, Krishna, because at least you gave me a glimpse. What does surrender mean? What does really? Please, Krishna, literally, please, Krishna. Huh? Now I don't say that.
And I have seen, like, whatever problems came, I think Krishna has, that is Krishna's plan. And I'm really thanking him, because I understand more now why that problems came. And also, I mean,
it's very individual, but that's a fact. That's a fact. Just last line I'll say here, Gaurgopal Prabhu said in Hindi, so I'll say in Hindi first. मुश्किलें इंसान को या तो तोड़ देती हैं या सही रास्ते पर मोड़ देती हैं. मुश्किलें इंसान को या तो तोड़ देती हैं या सही रास्ते पे मोड़ देती हैं. So sometime when the problem comes, sometime we are completely broken, or that's the best time to connect ourselves with Krishna. I don't know how to translate well. I'm looking at Rosanand Prabhu and Mataji. That was said in Hindi, and there's a lot of rasa there. But you get the point, huh? When the problem comes, you may either go against Krishna, or you can get more connected with Krishna in those times. So very individual how we take the life. Okay, we'll stop here. Sundar Prabhuji, any quick announcement?
Yeah.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Sundar Prabhuji.
So Prabhuji, just the announcement is the class is on Wednesday. We won't have the weekend class, so we would be having the class on Wednesday.
Okay. So 2nd of July, no class. 28th of June, class 7 to 9 p.m. Thank you, Prabhu. Anything else?
Assignments by 30th June.
Thank you. Assignment 30th of June. So I'm just repeating Sundar Gopal Prabhu. Huh? If you have a problem, meet with him and feed him a samosa or dosa.
I'm reading the guidelines, Prabhu. Okay, I'll leave the third one for the next time for you to say, Prabhu. I won't say.
Want to give the address?
Okay, quickly.
Give the address, Prabhu.
I'll say it. Huh?
I give the address for him for dosa.
Okay, call me as well, only for the dosa, huh? Not for anything else. And don't tell Sundar Gopal Prabhu. Okay, last thing I'll say, Sundar Prabhuji is saying to, sorry, I'll take 30 seconds more. Attendance is very important. I emphasized this last class. It's not my guideline. Please don't take it like that. I'm just a facilitator following the guidelines of MIHE. Your 75% in person means at least, face to face, what we are doing now is important. And that includes, so if you're offline camera, I'm not talking about 5-10 minutes, you're going looking after your baby or going to restroom, not saying that. Please be present here, be interactive. That's what this is not an online Bhakti Shastri course. Online Bhakti Shastri courses are available and you can do that completely online. It's your pace. You can do that, but this is not. This is as per MIHE guidelines, because we are supposed to submit all your attendances, all your assignments, all your exam books, open book, closed book, everything we are actually submitting to them. So we are responsible to pass the clear message to all of you. I know some people are listening YouTube's classes within a week, which we said last time, which is fine, but that should not be used as a regular one. So now Sundar Gopal Prabhu and myself were discussing about it, how to define a line where people just don't listen YouTube's every week. So we have said 60% your online camera attendance is needed. 20% you can listen YouTube. That's fine, because we understand your family member may be sick, or you may be sick, you may have to go last minute somewhere. That's all okay. And 20% you can be off. So please refer to these guidelines. 60 plus 20 plus 20. It's like that. And Prabhuji has made a full chart, and every single person's from module 1, all the full attendance, how much YouTube's they have listens, how much in person is, everything available. Now we are not going to implement the 60-20-20 rule from now onwards, because I know it's only like we are 2 weeks away from the exam, but your 75% attendance in this module is still needed. From next time, it will be 60-20-20. Anyone has any clarifications needed? Sundar Prabhu has very detailed attendance record. Please ask him, but don't overwhelm him with your request, because he has other things to do as well. So if you're in doubt, many devotees are all okay. Some devotees are on the borderline. So please follow this attendance guideline, 75% in this term. Next term it will be 60 on camera. All the classes, if you're off camera, actually it will mark as absent. YouTube 20% and 20% absents are okay. Then you can hear later. That's fine. You have to go to India. And we'll also have our formal holidays in December. I have not decided the date as yet, but we'll have. So we all understand annually we may have to go to India. That's a formal holiday. So that's obviously not counted for anyone. So we have plenty of opportunities for day offs and sickies. But please try to attend interactive classes, because this is an interactive person. This is not an impersonal course, it's a personal course. And Krishna recommends personal attendance. So please do that wherever best possible. Okay, we'll stop here. We'll see you all again on Wednesday, 7 o'clock.